Welcome to the May monthly finals for the Clash of Clans World Championship. I'm Carbon Finn, joined here with some amazing fellow co-casters. Itsu, are you ready?
I am so ready for some amazing Clash action to give away the second golden ticket for this year's World Championship. I think, Eric, you're hyped as well, right?
Oh yeah, we got some incredible teams here today. I'm very excited to see what they have for us, and I'm just looking forward to some really good competition from the best teams in the world. How about you, Woody?
It's time for another rousing round of combat out there. Clashers, we have one golden ticket winner already, and this month we'll crown another. Guys, it's so great to be back on the casting desk with you. My voice is ready. I'm coming in clear. I know I'm loud. Carbon, what do we got next?
Oh, we've got the roadmap. It's time to learn how these teams got here. Well, they started in stage 1 for the open qualifiers. It was open to all the clashers out in the whole world, which we eliminated and got down to 128 teams in the monthly qualifiers. And now in stage 3, it is today and tomorrow, the monthly finals, to then eventually, after the monthly finals, have a last chance qualifiers to eventually play at the end of the year for the Clash of Clans World Championship Final. So let's learn a little bit more about today's overview here, Itsu.
That's right. Let's take a look at the format for this weekend, because we have a 6-team double elimination bracket, and the first 2 top-seeded teams are actually getting a bye round. Overall, every single match is going to be 5 versus 5 clan wars, where each player has to attack once. The first place of this weekend is going to earn a golden ticket to the World Finals later this year, and the second place is going to earn a silver ticket for the last chance qualifier. So overall, a lot on the line for those teams, Eric.
Absolutely, but they're not just playing for the golden ticket. There's cash money prizes here for them to win this weekend. So first place will not only walk away with that golden ticket, but also $18,000 US. And even if you get into the last place, just for making it into the top 6 here, they're already in the money. They're already $5,000 deep, but every win is going to carry them even further. So speaking of wins, we got to find out who the teams are going to be playing this weekend. So Woody, here's a bracket.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's take a look at that. The top 2 teams have already advanced to round 2. Early Attacks and VM Legacy ran a monster campaign through this month's qualifiers, and they're going to have no trouble at all already at the top. But there's 4 more teams that are going to be duking it out in round 1, earning the right to face off against them. They'll be Dizzy Esports, Millicene MG, Savage Elite, and HTM Esports. Carbon, what are you most excited about to see in this bracket today?
Well, I'm excited to see all the matches here, but with the very first one to kick it off, you never know what you're gonna see. Is it gonna be trying to go for speed in terms of we were seeing like last month with the Root Riders, or have they come up with a different attack here and been saving it for this month? That's a lot of times this is what happens. They save either base designs, they save some attacks, they don't want to bring it, because if they bring it in earlier tournaments, then they kind of reveal their hand. Let's take a look at the predictions that we have here across the board for the casters, and you know, it's kind of split, going everywhere. We have different teams, and I mean, all the teams are covered it too.
Yeah, we are pretty much, well, I was for the second match going not with the obvious World Championship pick there, trying to go for the underdog a little bit, but I think the first match especially is going to be super close. I feel like Millicene is going to be the more known team within the community, because Dizzy Esports just recently renamed, and I feel like that is going to be a big factor in votings all around. I think you would agree, Eric, right?
Yeah, I mean, almost every single team here has played in a previous World Championship. Most of these players have, regardless of the name that they're playing under in this specific one. You got a lot of talent on the field. But I think DC Esports has been on a roll right now, because they just took #1 in the world for the ELO ratings. And so they're at the top of the game right now. They just previously, last year, they played under the name X Team. So that's the team that you're looking at right there.
Yeah, across the board, it is no easy feat to be able to predict these matches. Remember, you can predict them yourselves if you want to get a chance at some excellent prizes. But for the casters here, I'm taking Millicene MG to start off with. They had a tough run through the qualifiers, but their primary loss was actually to the world champions, Savage Elite. And so if it hadn't been for that, they might have been one of the top 2 ranked teams as well. I think that they've got the edge over Dizzy in the first round. And then, yeah, of course, I think Itsu is going to be sitting out on this one. The world champions now representing the Savage Elite lineup are definitely going to be a squad to keep an eye on. Of course, they got that win over Millicene MG, 15-13 in the qualifiers. And so I think they really are performing at the top level of the game. And, you know, every year is different. Every year brings a new troop or a spell or new strategies. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out here. But I think that we've got a solid prediction lineup here, Carbon.
And what are you talking about prizing? Well, yes, all of you at home, if you go head over to event.supercell.com/Clash of Clans, that is where you can earn prizes inside the game. All you have to do is link your account to your Supercell ID, answer the questions in terms of the predictions, watch along with the stream there, and you're able to earn prizes to then redeem and help you progress, get some ores, you can get some resources, tons of stuff over there, so be sure to check it out. But we're gonna have an amazing day here today and tomorrow where we'll be giving away another golden ticket, and also second place we'll be getting a silver ticket for the last chance qualifiers. But let's kind of get a check for the very first match that we're gonna have here today.
Yeah, let's take a look at those 2 teams, because we have said already, those 2 teams are on the highest level. Millicene MG and Dizzy Esports both are looking incredible stats-wise. But again, we need this clutch factor. We had this last month where some teams had some incredible stats, but they were not able to show up. Can Dizzy Esports do this on this weekend, Eric?
I think that DZ Esports has adapted to this meta extremely well right now. They are consistent. You can see the hit rates there. Almost every single player up into well into the 90s on the average 3-star rate. But I think that they are also playing very, very fast. Like, I wish we also had a stat here for their average time over the course of the entire tournament, because that would be also a very good indication of where they could do in the case of the tiebreakers. But DC Esports definitely played at the very, very top of the game. But on the other side, Woody, we got Millicene MG.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Dizzy has been playing really quick. I do want to mention, though, that they took a loss on a perfect v perfect war against VM Legacy. So although they are fast, they may not be the absolute fastest out there. It's going to be tough for Millicene MG to come in over the top and beat them, though. Millicene has got plenty of experience in pro events like this. But they kind of seem to be a sort of squad that either hits hard, fast, and wins it all, or kind of falters in the early game, doesn't really break through the way that they'd expect, and then kind of loses that confidence. So this first match, I think, is going to be particularly important for both of them in setting the pace for this month, trying to get that early momentum building up to stay in the upper bracket and keep that hope high for a golden ticket. But even from the lower bracket, as we saw last month, it is still possible to win it all this month. Carbon, I think that we've done a pretty good job teeing up this first match so far, but was there anything that we left out or anything that's still on your mind?
No, you covered everything here. It's just, I can't wait to see what these teams are going to be bringing. Really, it's going to be the case of, do they save the attacks, they save the defenses, like I mentioned before, for this month, for this moment here. And we're taking a look at the predictions that all of you at home have left in. Wow, 66% are picking Millicene MG. Is it because you recognize the name, you recognize the logo, and you're not familiar with Dizzy Esports? Well, Dizzy's gonna be letting you know who exactly they are here. Gonna try to set the tone in the very first match and try to advance. Remember, it is double elimination. You lose a match, you still have that second opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. There's always this comeback potential of going all the way through the lower bracket, and we had it already in the first qualifier last month, which means it really shows it is possible for sure. And I think, as you said, saving strategies, saving bases, I'm really looking forward to see if there's some new style of bases coming up. We have seen over the last qualifier those invisibility tower bases coming up, getting popular and spreading everywhere. I feel like everyone who is in Legends by now has attacked at least once one of those double invisibility tower bases. They can be really annoying and tricky to attack, and sometimes as well force a lot of fails, which we have seen the last qualifier as well. So maybe something new, something which is different to surprise your opponent, and that for sure is, I think, an option.
Absolutely. But guys, it's time for me and Woody to step out of here. You guys, good luck with casting that first match there. We'll see you all later on. But let's kick this war off here and let's get this started.
Absolutely. We've got 6 matches here today that we will be playing. So we got a lot of Clash esports to come. And also, we're going to be sending some teams home as well. They've made it through the open qualifiers. They made it through double elimination stages to get to this point here. And just like that, they could be sent home. So they got to do their absolute best as we're getting ready for the very first attack this weekend, which looks to be Tryhard, who wants to lead it off here for Milliceme MG.
That's right. And I feel like, if I remember correctly, with the Milliceme last month, we had a lot of their losses where they have failed early into the matches and they were not able to recover, like not able to get the comeback in the current meta. I feel like as soon as one of the teams is having the pressure on the other team, it's really hard to come back because time and off times is not a factor anymore. So make sure that those first attacks are working as intended, because from the past, it seems like that was the weakness from Milliceme.
Yeah, Milliceme's going to look to set this tone here for Tryhard, and Tryhard is in. It is with dragons to start, with a queen and a king to the bottom side. Looks like the jump is going to give access for this king to be able to jump into the Eagle Artillery, as we did have a Stone Slammer that opened up pretty early. And look at this, going instead with not Root Riders, but dragons and an Overgrowth to try to just move right over the walls here as the Eagle Artillery was taken down.
That's right, the Overgrowth spell is such a big part of the game currently. It's so good to take down those core Town Hall bases, because it makes sure that you kind of skip the Town Hall and then go for the Town Hall later on, which makes the Town Hall poison off times useless. But this one is getting triggered kind of early, so maybe the Overgrowth spell was a little bit too early into this attack, because there is still a lot of defenses on the back end, to be honest.
Yeah, quite a bit, and the king does come back to life. The multi did just go down, but he has the Royal Champion ability still to utilize here with the 1 Rockaloon, couple Super Barbarians, as there is the poison to slow down the enemy Royal Champ. Hogs are coming in to try to help clutch up towards that scatter shot, as that Ricochet cannon is being distracted just perfectly to allow the Royal Champion to make her way through the backside, as the Spirit Fox has died off, but Tryhard is gonna be getting a 3-star to start this one off.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how the players as well have adapted to the new equipment which has been released between the last qualifier and this one, the spiky ball. Is it going to be used to snipe defenses? Is it going to be used to deal a lot of damage quickly? Because I've seen from a lot of pros, they really still like the combination of the gauntlet with the Rage Vial. So that is for sure something to look out for. Try hard on this attack, use the Rage Vial with that gauntlet. It's such a good combination, such great synergy. So then the question is more likely, is it worth it to replace such a great working equipment combination?
That is a great question. But now Dizzy Esports is going to be up next to attack. And you talked about the spiky ball. Will we see the fireball? Because we were seeing some pro players coming in with fireballs before that were pretty quick. Fireballs taking out one side, using lightning spells to take out a different side of the base, and Rockaloons really flying around. So really, these players are trying to think of different ways to take down bases quickly. Obviously, the biggest meta right now and known attack strategy is with those Root Riders and Valkyries, but there's always that one strategy that we don't figure out until later, and usually these monthly finals is where it gets revealed, Itsu.
Yes, that is 100% correct, as we're getting ready slowly for the next attack, which has to be Dizzy Esports. They have to follow up now on the attack of Milliceme, which we have just seen, and it looks like another Rage Vial and the Gauntlet equipment. On the Archer Queen, I feel like the most common combination of equipments we typically see is the Invisibility and the Healer Puppet. It's such a great combination as well, and it's actually double common, but just so much power as well.
Yeah, with a jump spell, gonna allow this queen to take it, follow behind this king in towards the town hall, while the Root Riders looking like he wants a path to the top side to move straight towards that Eagle Artillery. Taking out the Eagle Artillery is a very smart move, so you don't have those Eagle Artillery shots raining down on your troops or even your heroes, as the Overgrowth is now placed to help slow down the damage in the core.
Yeah, he's keep pushing forward as his queen is slowly approaching the defending clan castle. Already taking down that scatter shot, being frozen up, but the overgrowth spell should run out really soon, I believe, with the Root Riders going around the back end Super Barons as well to speed things up even further. Wait a second, the queen passed the entire building to the core. Can she still take down the town hall with this ability?
Ooh, the freeze is there from the Ice Golem as the Queen's ability has gone off. The healers are in the core here, freezing up the Monolith as Super Barbarians coming in from the top side, taking that jump, and yes, indeed, the Town Hall will be going down, but you can take a look at the time that's under Millicene MG at 1:31, and we're going to have a triple here from Dizzy, and all they want to do is be under that time. At 1:18, what a fantastic start for them.
Yeah, really great approach. Having the Root Riders clear up the top side while you have the heroes diving for this core compartment. Really nicely separated the compartments of the space and then took fully advantage out of that.
Yeah, it was fantastic attack. They are able to get the perfect value for those Root Riders to move their way up and around the base. As now Temper is going to look to try to bring another 3-star for Millicene MG. But can Dindin defend here for Dizzy Esports? That's really going to be the question. Are they going to be running those 2 invisibility spells, those types of bases that we've seen so many times before, where it can make the Root Riders go all over the place? But here we go. Temper is up with a Zap Lalo here.
That is interesting for sure. Using the Zap Lalo on this arm, like on this base. We know Zap Lalo can be strong, but it's for sure one of the hardest strategies, not only to get 3 stars, but as well to be that quick. Where is he going to use the lightnings, though?
And with the king down at the bottom side by the Ice Golem, he can push him in towards this ricochet cannon with a wall break, now opening the wall to allow the king to move in. And there is the lightning used right on top of that monolith near the clan castle as the Royal Champion also comes down, popping the king ability and not deploying these balloons just yet. And is the strategy of just, focusing on getting a perfect ward, because if your opponent fails one time, then time will not matter, as here comes the Hound from the right side to move around with that warden now.
Yeah, the queen is still having her ability, being able to clear the entire left side if she's walking inside, though. The Lado is slowly starting. He has not invested a lot of spells. The ward ability in combination with that blimp flying towards the town hall and the healing tome should hopefully keep those balloons now alive.
Yeah, with that ward internal tome protecting, raging that blimp as it makes it right towards the town hall, taking it down, and now balloons coming in from the top side, looking to overwhelm. With the minions around to help clean up those outside buildings. We're just past over a minute left here, and the balloon coming down to go for that clan castle. The queen is going to go down to the defensive king, which is going to be okay, but you always want to try to speed up the time as the cleanup is down all around the space for a 3-star here for Temper.
Yeah, that was a really, really clean attack from him, getting this 3-star with the Loon Parade still left. Even some of the healers from the healer puppet surviving, and that's going to be another 3-star. A little bit quicker than the first deck from Millicene, but not even close to the attacking time of Dizzy in the first... No, wait, actually, the exact same time.
Wow. Exact. Okay, well, there you go. Well done here. 3 stars apiece for Tryhard and Temper. And now Dizzy's going to look to bring 2 triples of their own. Can they keep up the pressure? Can they keep bringing the 3 stars? Because we've seen it even through the open qualifiers, through the second stage. Teams fail. They don't get perfect wars every time. So a strategy of just focusing on perfect wars can really give you a good chance of advancing, as now it is again here for Dizzy Esports, bringing in the Root Riders and Valkyries with 1 overgrowth and a classic 1 jump, typically paired with that king.
That's right, the Baron King getting pushed into that left. Wait, is he actually going back? No, he's going around the outside, so things are not going to plan. He's now going to wall break him into this compartment, but things look not as planned anymore.
Yeah, with that king ability now being used here, which is going to push his way into the ricochet cannon. 2 ricochet cannons right there as an Ice Golem Miraculous coming out of this clan castle. And now the queen's going to not really going to be able to take the jump because her ability is going to be forced here pretty soon. And no even healers there to heal her back up. Uh-oh.
Well, this is going to be interesting how he's going to turn this around, and if he even 3-stars, what the time will look like. So far, they have a really nice buffer of a difference in time. But first off, he has to 3-star, and with everything passing the Town Hall, he has to make sure that the Town Hall is still going down.
And with the Royal Champion and the Queen moving up to the top, luckily the Queen is still alive there, as we do have a Root Rider down to the bottom side. Valkyrie's coming out of the Siege Barracks from the far right. Overgrowth has just worn off as he does invest that freeze, and that Queen with the Frozen Arrow slowing that Town Hall down, even though it was frozen there, but it's just getting slowed down even more. So Poison Spell just got launched there, and yes, it is a 3-star, and they're going to be keeping their advantage here in this match. Well done, while Milliseem at 131 and Dizzy at 120, with this attack being at a 122.
Yeah, really good recovery with this King. Not going as intended. He really tried to make this as fast as possible. The funnel for the King was not set, and this meant the King did walk the wrong direction. But really good comeback, but now it's up to Milliseem. They really need to make sure that they're getting those 3-stars in with hopefully even a better time.
Yeah, they're going to look to try to improve the time for sure, but remember, you got to get those 3-stars. That is definitely the most important point of the war. Try to get as close to a perfect war, if not the perfect war here, and look like this. Okay, we're seeing Milliseem not bringing the Root Riders here. It is the Lala with 7 lightning spells, with that Queen to the top side, the Golem off to the left, King's ability used right away, as he even sends that Royal Champion in early from the far right.
Ooh, the King did not go for the multi-arch tower. I'm pretty sure that he wanted to get that multi-arch tower down with that Barbarian King, because now that Royal Champion is suffering from all of that splash damage. Queen with the Barbarian King, though, walking inside. Can he get any more value there? As the Lala already starting, but he needs to make sure that this attack is indeed quick.
Yeah, with those balloons coming down from the bottom side, the blimp is coming as well. The War Internal Tome can help protect the blimp. He does. He also finds the tornado trap down there as a bunch of archers are getting lured. So he finally deploys that poison spell to try to help poison them up, take the archers down as one headhunter sneaks out as he uses that freeze right on the town hall. It looks like sneaky goblins have come out, but are they? Uh-oh, he opened the blimp just too early. And the sneaky goblins are working through the town hall, but he should be able to take it down with the raged up warden.
Oh, the town hall is going down indeed. The Queen is still alive, taking down the Eagle already, but that multi-fire tower on the back end has to go down as well. The defending King getting that attacking Queen out, but that multi-fire tower is still looking like a big threat.
Yeah, with that multi still up, the warden is very low health, and it's just these minions. Uh-oh, these minions are gonna get stuck on this King, and my friends, it's looking like this is gonna be a defense here for Dizzy Esports, and a 98% 2-star for Nachoa unfortunately falls short.
That is so unfortunate. 2%, 2 buildings, but this is now a massive lead for Dizzy Esports. They have everything in their own hands. They do not have to think about time anymore. They just have to get those 3 stars. And this is going to be a huge relief for them with their next attacker around the corner.
Yeah, with the next attacker for Dizzy Esports looking to bring another 3-star. They'll be coming in with the Root Riders and Valkyries. Are they going to continue to do that? It is a very strong attack strategy at getting 3 stars, and it is also an attack strategy that is very quick and efficient. So it does both, and that can help Dizzy Esports continue to keep their lead. But all it takes is one fail, and if it's not above that 98%, meaning a 99 is the only non-fail to keep their lead in this match.
That is right, but the next attack is in. We see again the classic. Wait, actually we see the frozen arrow. I would say the healer puppet is the more classic combination for the Queen. But the army composition is looking really similar to what we have seen already, with King and Queen getting pushed into that bottom compartment. He has the jump spell ready to then have those Root Riders with the Valkyries pushing around into another corner.
Yeah, with that jump, giving that King access, the Root Riders coming in from the right side so they can move in towards that core town hall. And you know that these base builders, these players are trying their absolute best to to defend against this type of attack. They are sending the Root Riders in during their testing from every single different angle to see if they can try to slow it down. And because they know it's probably going to get tripled, they're just looking to try to have it go and be a slower type of attack, as the Siege Barracks is being used straight to the top side with those P.E.K.K.A.s coming out as the overgrowth is freezing everything up in the core.
Yeah, there are some backers in the core as well, which are clearing those skeleton traps nicely. We have as well the Root Riders now with that rage getting pushed around. The overgrowth spell should run out any second now, I believe. And yes, exactly. And now he has to make his way all the way back towards the tunnel again. And as long as that's happening, he's looking fine, because there's another rage in place, and that's going to be the next 3-star again on the table, and they're not letting the pressure go.
Yeah, with that Town Hall going down, the whole core is destroyed. It is another 3-star here for Dizzy Esports. What a fantastic attack there, keeping their lead by a single star and 2% total so far in this match. We still have 2 attacks to come in from each side, so anything can still happen. All it takes is one small mistake, your hero going the wrong way, you can fail an attack.
That is right. Mistakes can still happen, but Team now needs to 3-star every single attack. Time is not going to be as big of a difference anymore, but they need to 3-star to keep at least the hope alive for them, to make sure that they're still turning around this match. But it's not going to be easy whatsoever. The team captain Kingsman is going to attack next, and well, is he going to bring the Root Riders, or are they sticking with the Lalo, for example?
Yeah, that's what they've been doing with the Lalo and several different attacks, but it is now a Root Rider attack here, but no Valkyries. We got most likely a Queen Walk on an outside of the base for healers onto her, and then the King taking that jump right through a Tesla farm. The instability is fantastic value through a Tesla farm and even any ground skeleton. Plus all these archers that are coming out, this King is trying to splash damage his way right on through, and including the clan castle going down.
Yes, that was already amazing value with the Queen now charging into this bottom side. A great wall break, providing access towards that elixir storage. And as long as this Queen is now walking into the bomb tower channel, she can even reach that Town Hall. Typically, you don't have to care about such things like the Queen range anymore, because most of the attacks are just Root Riders. But with the Queen chat like this is a huge advantage for Kingsman.
Yeah, that's fantastic value there, as he does wall break his way into the enemy Royal Champion compartment with those double P.E.K.K.A.s. Wizards from that Siege Bears coming in, help clear her. As the Root Riders are in, that Queen is reaching that Town Hall, just like you said. So that's going to allow this Queen to take it down, and the Root Riders, or not, yeah, just the Root Riders. I was going to say Root Riders and Velks, but there is no Velks here. I'm so used to it. There's probably Velks inside of that Siege Perks, as that Warden ability is used right away now here to help protect the Root Riders as they're pathing their way to the backside of this base.
Yeah, we have now the Valkyries on the outside, Calvin, so there are some Valkyries from that Siege Barracks released, but the backhand, I don't think that the backhand has enough power to get somehow those Root Riders out of this attack. There's just so many left of them. The Queen has their ability, and that should be a pretty safe 3-star for Kingsman.
It is a safe 3-star. We don't have to worry about time at the moment because of the one fail that came in from Nachoa with that 98%. So they're just hoping now that Dizzy falls short, something happens to their attack to try to get a defense. You never know what will happen in the final set of attacks as the pressure is mounting, because you want to try to win these matches. If you get sent to the lower bracket, it is such a difficult task to make a run down there, which actually did happen last month, where Synchronic lost their very first match and then won out, including a bracket reset. So it is possible, but it is pretty rare to happen.
Yeah, I think in the past it did not happen that often overall.
Yeah.
I think Navi for sure was a team which I think last year was able to do it, but otherwise not happening too often. It is always a really impressive showcase of skill. But for now, we're still in the first match, so anything can happen in this one, as Dan is up next, and he's going to get in with the Root Riders.
Yeah, right away, sending in those troops, using those super barbarians around to help set the funnel so that he could push directly right on into the base. To the bottom side, especially going to take out that Eagle artillery nice and early with that Warden Eternal Tome and the Healing Tome to heal him back up as he does lure out the Ice Golems, pathing all the way around to move towards the Town Hall to the backside. Does have 2 overgrowths. Let's see where he decides to use that first one.
Yeah, he's waiting really a long time to use the first overgrowth. It's going to be interesting. I guess Town Hall, yeah, Town Hall and the buildings behind it, but this literally means the Town Hall is the last building. And I'm not really sure why he's using 2 overgrowth, because as this one first overgrowth is running out, the Town Hall should be on the table already. I'm right now a little bit confused.
Yeah, with these Root Riders pathing their way to the left, he will path his way all the way back up towards the Town Hall. He uses the second overgrowth now, so he doesn't have to worry about those defenses hitting his wizards or P.E.K.K.A.s to the top side. So by the time he even has the King, the Queen, and the Royal Champion ability still intact, and 3 freezes. At this point, he's going to have to wait. He can't do anything for the remaining once this storage goes down here, and it's just going to be a waiting game here, Itsu.
Well, we are waiting, and now finally wait.
Oh,
that was actually the spiky ball. Let's go. Seeing that new equipment in action and getting that new equipment some usage, because so far otherwise we have mainly seen still the Rage Vial in combination with that gauntlet still.
Well, John there just standing and not doing anything. So weird to see in an attack where the heroes and troops literally have nothing to target because the overgrowth made it so all the troops literally couldn't see it. You have to wait until the spell wears off. That's the same thing like an invisibility spell, but an invisibility spell doesn't last as long as an overgrowth. So usually that's just a few seconds. But indeed, if you do use the overgrowth, you do have to have that planned into the attack. But nowadays, with these attacks being so quick, you don't have to worry about costing you anywhere near a time fail, as now Hawk is coming in with a similar attack to what Kingsman did. So if he triples here, which he's really hoping to do, then that means that Dizzy will have to get at least a 99% 2-star in their final attack to win.
That's right, getting that 99 at least to win. But for now, Hawk has to 3-star with his Queen Charge Root Riders as well. So he's going the same route as his team captain and as Kingsman, which he has done earlier, with a nice Queen Charge near the core. But is it going to work for Hawk as it has worked for Kingsman?
With that Queen charging her way right on into this clan castle through these ice golems. Luckily, that Queen was able to take out that monolith right away with the freeze, stalling up the ice golem so it did not get out in front of it and cause some problems for this Queen charge, as she could continue her way in with 2 wall breakers. Once that Expo on the right side goes down, I was going to say if he waited, then he could have wall broke straight to the Town Hall, but he does have an extra one, so that should be okay.
Yeah, it should be okay for sure. That wall break opening everything to the core of the King tanking. Not optimal that he did not take down the bottom corner, but hey, tanking for the Queen is not the worst thing possible, which could happen to him. The Flame Flinger taking down the entire far right side. The Root Riders are looking really good for him. And, well, not much left for this base to somehow stop this, because the Warden ability just has been used.
Yeah, with that War Eternal Tome helping to protect the Root Riders, making his way through a Tassa farm that popped up to the left as he needs to make his way through it. And the Root Riders also continue to the multi with that Flame Flinger still getting some value as the super minions are reaching over to help take out the right side, but taking some damage there as the RC still has her ability and a rage spell still to use.
Yeah, the Royal Champ with her ability and with the Rage together, they should easily clean this attack up. Since we have seen the 2-star earlier from Medicine, time is not a factor anymore, so that this attack is a slower one, that is not really relevant anymore. And this means that it's going to be the safe 3-star. And now it's all about Dizzy getting at least that 99%. I think even 98 should be enough, because they still have the time advantage on their side.
Yeah, with this top side going down as well, it is a 3-star. time's not going to be a factor here. Now it comes down to what Dizzy Esports can do in the final attack. If they get a 98% 2-star, they'll most likely win because they have a big advantage on time. It would be an exact tie draw war. But if it's a 99% 2-star, then they'll have the lead in terms of one building. Anything less than a 98% 2-star, they will lose this match. So there's still a lot on the line.
Yeah, for sure. They have to get this attack right. Even though 3-stars seem to look so easy for those pros currently, he has to get this save attack in to confirm their victory, to then make it all the way in the upper bracket, or further in the upper bracket, to face off against early attacks later then.
Yeah, looking to continue to push their way through an upper bracket here, as now Dizzy Esports is coming in with a maxed out spiky ball. Does have the Root Riders and the Valkyries to utilize, with 2 overgrowths as well. And it looks like the spiky ball, they're going to look to have this king pop the ability to have it hit 9 different buildings. It's not going to go to the nearest defense like a Warden Fireball will. It'll just go to the nearest buildings wherever the spiky ball is bouncing. So we're going to have a golem right out in front of this queen through into the defensive queen. We got the siege bear coming down with that king as well. More wall breakers to be opening up these walls.
Yeah, and where's the king getting used to? I want to see how he's using that spiky ball, like what is going to be the direction, the goal for this equipment for him. He's using it at the bottom side, and maybe just as some like bonus damage, I guess, and not like specifically planning out the pathing of this equipment.
Yeah, with that instant Warden ability helping to protect the overgrowth, stalling up the whole core there. Ice Golems are getting lured out of the clan castle because remember, overgrowths do not stop defensive heroes or the clan castle from targeting, from coming out of the CC. You will have to encounter that even with the spell. He does miss the freeze onto the ricochet cannon, but this king ability is going to get forced, and the spiky ball is skipping around here, taking out some of the right side as he needs to continue right through this core, freezing up the ricochet cannon again. And here comes that next overgrowth as he's pathing to the bottom, and he'll just have to wait for his heroes to eventually target that core.
Yeah, and I'm not really 100% convinced if that spiky ball was worth it. Yes, he took some defenses out, like an arch tower and a air defense, I believe, but I'm not sure. I'm still in between if I like this equipment better or the gauntlet with that rage vial. But I guess that's going to be a question which we have to answer within the next weeks, and more and more people are going to try things out. But this is going to be the needed 3-star for Dizzy Esports, and this means they're moving on in the upper bracket to face off against early attacks. And Millicene, don't worry, you will see them later again, but there will be the lower bracket.
Yeah, even if Nachoa did get a 3-star and didn't get that 98%, it looks like Dizzy still would have potentially won this match because of the time. They definitely had a huge advantage on the time there, so Nachoa doesn't have to put his head down, just like, oh, he failed, it cost him the war. No, there was a lot of attacks in the end that took a lot of time from Millicene MG, and unfortunately, they did not win this match. So congrats to Dizzy Esports winning the very first match of this weekend, as they will be advancing in the upper bracket. But like you said, Millicene MG still has a chance to try to make their way through the lower bracket, which was the exact same situation for Socronic. They played in the very first match, they lost the very first match, and then they went on to get the golden ticket. So if there's anything to hang on and kind of a little bit of hope, I would say that is it right there. So let's take a look at the highlights of this very first match here.
Yeah, we had some incredible attacks on both sides. I think especially I would like to know if Dizzy Esports would have used those double overgrowth spells, even if the match would have still been decided on time, because I feel like the double overgrowth is typically a little bit slower, especially with the troops having to wait for the second overgrowth to run out. So that would be for sure a big question mark for me. But otherwise, great to see some Queen Charge attacks as well for Millicene with those Root Riders together, which they have used beautifully together to get those 3 stars done in the end when time was not an important factor anymore.
Yeah, and I'm really curious as these matches go on. Like, what's the difference from last month and this month? We know the biggest one is the spiky ball that is coming to these players that they could use. Depends on if they decide to actually upgrade it. There's a lot of players, they definitely unlocked it because they definitely want to have it to be able to use, but it does cost a lot of resources. Granted, there's been a lot of time, so I'm assuming a lot of their other abilities have pretty much either been maxed out or got pretty close to max, so they can start to use the resources for a spiky ball and maybe start to use it in a match that is like this. But there's a lot of pressure, so you don't want to, is it worth the risk is really kind of the question here, Itsu.
Let's take a look at the final match results, which we have overall from this team. Nachoa did not get the Slay Star in the end, but otherwise, take a look at the times of the first 3 attackers of Dizzy Esports. Those were the important attacks when time mattered, and those attacks, damn, they were fast.
They were fast indeed. They're bringing the attack times of 1:24, 22, 18. We did have a few of the slow attacks towards the end, but still, they had the attacks across the board. It looks like 131 from Tryhard and Temper. Still, that was their lowest, and it wasn't. Dizzy Esports had plenty of attacks even lower than that. And there we go, our MVP of this very first match. Congrats here to Yaga. Well done there for Dizzy Esports getting the first victory as they're going to be looking to try to continue their run through the upper bracket.
I'm kind of surprised that we don't see General X on this one, even if he didn't play. I mean, that was just magical last month. But hey, Eric, Woody, what did you make out of this last match which we have just watched? I think, Eric, you can go first.
Absolutely. I always think it's interesting when we do see a miss in a war and how the players adjust their play, because they don't play the same. As soon as there's a miss on the board, everything changes. They are no longer going for time, like you're saying, using the double overgrowth a lot right there. They slow things down, and it does have a very, very big impact on how the rest of the war goes. And it just makes you think, are they using the most likely chances to, are they using the attacks that have the best chance to get to the 3-star the majority of the time? I feel like they just put a lot of inherent risk into their attacks there to go fast, and you see it right there when we see the miss.
Well, with so many wars coming down to an evenly matched, sometimes perfect v perfect 15-15 result, you really can't sacrifice seconds. This is kind of the new tiebreaker that is becoming a lot more important. It's almost like time fails are a thing of the past, but maybe even a 2-minute and 30-second attack is kind of considered a time fail in some regards when everyone's getting 3 stars. You cannot sacrifice a minute. There's no time to spare at all. And so, yeah, I mean, you can make little adjustments here and there. If you see your opponent has missed a triple, you want to try to make sure you can confidently get that triple yourself and just ease out the win that way. But yeah, Overgrowth, quite a bit slower toward the end of that war than the attacks that we were seeing toward the beginning, Carbon. And still a lot of Root Riders, saw a few Dragons in that last attack. Lava Loon was the only attack style that we saw that didn't get a triple for sure. So what are you making of the meta so far this month? Is it shaken up at all in any surprising way?
It absolutely has. From last month, which seemed to be really strictly Root Riders and Valks, now we've got a little bit of different strategies. Definitely very nice to see, but we're now looking at the bracket where Dizzy Esports is going to be advancing to take on early attacks in round 2 of the Clash of Clans World Championship, the monthly finals, because tomorrow we will be giving away the second golden ticket through this double elimination to try to earn their way to the Clash of Clans World Championship later at the end of this year. But we have another match that's going to be a really good one here, Itsu, that's going to be taking on Savage Elite and HTM.
Yeah, and I just went with the underdog pick on this one. I see that you guys are just going for the Clash Gems, but no, like, I just went for the stats, to be honest. I did the same thing with the first match, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. So let's take a look if that's actually going to be helpful for this one. By the way, only the stats which we had for the for this specific qualifiers, no other community tournaments or anything like that. And it was close. It was close between those two teams. But in the end, I felt like that HTM had a slight advantage. But it's still the by far underdog team. That's fair to say, right?
I don't know. You're looking at the defending world champions on one side. Remember that when they played under the name Clash Champs last year, they won out in Finland, and they're the champs. They're the team to beat for every one of these teams. And HTM, I feel like HTM has been playing a little bit on the slower side. I watched them through the qualifiers, and they put in a lot of attacks in that 1 minute 40 to 2 minute range, it seems like. And when I watch the Savage Elite, our defending world champions, they seem to be putting in attacks that are down to like 1 minute and 20 a lot of the times. They're really, really good with the dragons. They're good with the root riders. They're good with the Lala. They have a lot of versatility, and I think that they are the team to beat right here for the teams that are in this match.
I think the thing that really stood out to me about HTM in particular is that they made an incredible run through the lower bracket of this qualifier. All 5 of the other teams were at the very top, pretty much consistently in the upper bracket until the very, very end. HTM had an early drop that took them down to the lower bracket, but they fought, and they fought hard, tooth and nail, throughout the entirety of it. And that came out eventually in their favor. They got the 6th seed, which is good enough for qualifiers to the monthly event. But is that going to be good enough to defeat the reigning world champion? Big obstacle ahead of them, and a very important match coming up next that could really change the storyline for how the month of May is shaping up so far. But as we already heard from Itsu, it's a very close score on the stat line, just a 0.2% advantage for Savage Elite and a tiny star advantage for them as well. Carbon, let's take a look at the lineup now.
And we got so many familiar faces here coming in for HTM Esports. We got Muhammad, Agent 33, Nick, Ghost, and Riga Torres 23. Taking a look at the overall hit rate, Muhammad looking the strongest, but Itsu, what a match that we have here with Savage Elite, defending world champs.
Yeah, and their hit rates are looking just impressive, to say the least. Really, really strong showing from the entire team, and I feel like Eric said it right. They are the team to beat, but at the same time, there are underdog teams who can for sure challenge them. And I feel like it was showcased in the past, and well, last month it did not work out in their favor. They worked in that last qualifier under the name Free Agents. They are now back with a new name, with a new sponsor, and they're ready to prove themselves. So I think this is going to be a really intense match.
Absolutely, but I also feel like when you're dealing with a team like that likes to use the dragons, they like to put the root riders off to the sidelines. They play a little bit differently than a lot of other teams. They really lean on the dragons, and dragons, because of the inherent use of the blimp and the existence of the tornado trap, can potentially get baited a little bit there and could ultimately cause some problems there. So it does always have that in the back of the mind there, that they could be walking right into a trap, and that feels like it's a little less of a factor when you're going into an attack with a bunch of root riders. But look at the split between the predictions for the audience. 51 on HTM, 49 on Savage Elite, and interesting that Savage Elite, our defending world champions, is actually, in the audience's opinion, the underdog in this match. What do you think about that, Woody?
Hey, this is a coin flip, clearly within the margin of error here, 51% to 49%. I got to give a tip of the hat to HTM Esports. They're doing a great job gathering their might and, finding some fans out there to support them. I think it's going to be a very closely contested match. Savage Elite, having faltered last month, know that they can't take any single match for granted. Every single attack has got to be at 100%. But, in their favor, they're going up against a team that only has one player, Rigo Torres, who has fought on a world finals stage. The rest of the squad, much as I love them, my hometown heroes, of course, they're from the United States, 3 of them anyways, are in kind of not necessarily the most competitive esports scene. North America has struggled to get top teams to the world stage in the past, and although they have had some mixed success, it would really be a coup if HTM could take a win off of the world champs here and continue on in the upper bracket of this month's finals.
Yeah, Indeed. We're getting ready. I'll give it off to you, Eric and Woody.
Thanks.
So Itsu and I will take a seat for this one, so best of luck.
All right, well, let's get ready to kick this off, guys. This is going to be one of these two teams going down to lower bracket. The other one will move on to face VM Legacy in the upper bracket and continue that push towards this golden ticket. But this is a big matchup. We are always interested to see what our defending world champions can do. And it looks like we're going to be kicking off today with Nick. Now, Nick did a lot of good work in North America. I think he has, if you look at like his play through the Snapdragon Pro Series and other North American only tournaments, he has more championship victories under his belt there than almost any other player in, well, literally every other player in North America. So definitely a very, very interesting player to see starting off the war here. Usually the team captain. I don't know who the team captain is right now, but Pato will be on defense here, and we'll see if they can get a hold here against HTM Esports.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Nick got that win fighting under the United Gaming banner against a completely different lineup, but it was Savage Elite Esports that they beat in the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 4. That North American challenge having wrapped up, but we're already jumping into the action. Take a look here at Nick charging in with dragons to start off with, Eric.
Yeah, he got the clone in the core of the base there to get the town hall down, but he cloned some balloons right on top of the scatter shot. You almost got the sweeper on the side of the base there down. He didn't quite pick it up there, but the dragons are going to wrap around to the left there. The queen is over there supporting. She already popped a healer puppet, and she's getting pushed along the left flank there, while the king working on the far right flank. We got a wall break at the very top corner of the base, and now the world champions started pushing the backside and started trying to pick up some of the air defenses, while the king actually going to pick up the top one. He's in a good spot here.
King Haaland is going to be marching all the way to the backside, knocks down that ricochet cannon from over the wall. Giant Gauntlet doing some amazing work at getting access to that final compartment there, and there is no question now. Nick is already pumping his fists. He has the 3 stars secured. Air Sweeper was a little bit annoying, pushing those dragons back throughout the entirety of the match. It might have slowed things down a little bit, but look at that. He's going to have over a minute and a half remaining with a clean clear through this base. All 4 heroes still left standing. He has demolished Pato's defenses, and with a minute and 22 seconds on that attack, you could have blinked and missed almost half of it, Eric.
Yeah, it's a very competitive time right now. I think if you can get between like a minute and 15 to minute 30, like that's where I think the most competitive range for the attack times has tended to be landing right now. If you start to go over a minute and 30, then especially while you're playing against Savage Elite, while you're playing against our defending world champions, you're going to be putting yourself at a potential disadvantage. So if you go over 2 minutes, then I'd almost call it a time fail. But let's get in here. We got some Brew Riders. We have the Overgrowth, and we're going to break out the Valkyries. Lots of super barbarians here. Let's go with the giant arrow to kick us off here, and that is going to got a couple buildings right in the opening compartment there, but it missed a lot of stuff on the far left side, and we'll see if the funnel is sufficient to get into the core and get this done.
Skeleton spell on offense is going to try to shut down this monolith and keep it distracted, while a skeleton traps, 2 of them in that compartment, are going to slow down the entry just a bit as well. We have got Root Riders storming on through, but they are clumped up pretty dangerously. Scattershot's going to get lots of splash damage off against them before that Eternal Tome pops off, and the Overgrowth spell is down now, shutting down all those defenses in the core. Meanwhile, on the edges of the base, the King has done great work on the bottom right side, while Super Minions are just demolishing this top left corner. Look out for that enemy Royal Champion, though, slowing things down a little bit on the top side, as the remainder of those Root Riders are going to path outside of the core, leaving it for the very end of the base. Pato is looking to get like a pincer movement from the back end to loop back through and finish off with a triple.
Always good to have the Overgrowth barely cover the town hall, so that way it's the last building you engage. It always has some inherent risk into it, but by leaving the town hall up to the very, very end, that means that he's not going to take the blast, he's not going to take the poison, he makes his way back in, always holding a freeze, always holding a rage, so they can make their way back to the core, but he's losing a lot of troops right now.
Eric, I don't know.
This is in trouble, this is in trouble. He needs to get the town down, you can see his frustration right there.
2 scatters are demolishing him!
Phoenix working on it!
No!
This...
Oh,
what needs the 1 star?
My God. Pato with the 1-star attack. You said it was a risky move, Eric, and the risk cannot be overstated. He has now left Savage Elite 2 stars behind out of the first round of attacks. And it's starting to look like the prediction from Itsu that HTM could take the win here might just hold. If their attacks are just level-headed throughout the rest of this war, if they can pull off maybe even missing one, they can get a 2-star and still have a star lead.
Yeah, it's a weird meta right now because I feel like the likelihood of getting the 1 stars and the 2 stars end up, like, it feels like they're about the same right now, because we see so many of these attackers go in and risk the Town Hall takedown and end on it so they can use like the overgrowth and go back to it. And so you often see attacks go to 1 stars almost just as often as you see attacks go to 2 stars. It's a really weird meta because usually if you have a miss, it almost always has to do with what happens with the Town Hall takedown. And so if the Town Hall takedown is the most critical part of the attack there that can cause the failures, then it's the most likely building to stay standing and ultimately end up with 1 star as well. So it is an interesting way that it all plays out here, but you can have the exact same thing happen in the other direction. However, it's unlikely to happen with Mohamed Morawi. As we saw from the stat line, he actually is sitting at a 100% hit rate. He is flawless as he's played through these qualifiers, and we'll see if we can continue that trend right here.
Well, Root Riders are certainly very strong, but they are not perfect. And in that last encounter, we definitely saw one of the weaknesses in trying to loop back and get the Town Hall at the very end. Overgrowth spell now down, doing the exact same thing as we just saw, but will it turn out better for Mohamed Morawi this time around? Dropping a few more of those barbs along the outer edge for some more cleanup, and the super minions are getting some more amazing work done. Seems to be that they're gaining a lot of favor from players as one of the better cleanup troops to get the edge of these bases down. We're swooping back toward the middle of the base, and there seems to be little problem at getting to 3 stars. Still a couple of spells left to deploy here to finish things off. Another skeleton spell will shut down and demolish this monolith in the backside. And Mohamed Morawi is just going to be pumping his fist, cracking his knuckles, and waiting for the next chance to engage. The 3-star is an easy claim for him, and HTM remains perfect so far, Eric.
Yeah, very, very fast attack as well. Not that time is a factor anymore, and that's always what's interesting when we see how the players change their game plan after we see a miss on the board. Obviously, Mohamed Morawi had no time to change his plan, but he's able to sustain his 100% hit rate, sustaining his very, very fast times. But now, Savage Elite is at a very, very rough spot here. Rico Torres will be on defense next year as we get ready for him. But I don't know. I'm very concerned about what they do there because I feel like now HTM, now that they have time to change their plan, I don't know if we'll ultimately see like another attack where the overgrowth leaves the Town Hall at the end. Like that one was probably just because of the position that they were in, but now they have the option to change things up here. And like you're saying, I like what you were pointing out there with the Super Barbarians. Super Barbarians doing awesome when they clean up on the outside, but they're also there to provide some extra tanking as we push in like the road champion across the backside of the base. But look at this, another giant arrow shooting across the base there, combines it with a small amount of lighting, and he gets the funnel and gets the monolith down. I like this setup, but it does burn the queen ability right out of the gate.
Yeah, a lot of times defending base builders would just, set up whatever buildings they needed to in the interior to ensure that the pathing couldn't be perfect for an attacker. But you got to be worried now if you set up a building that doesn't have enough hit points to sustain the damage from a giant arrow. You can really give a good opportunity for an attacker to get a fantastic pathing set up early on. Pretty much guaranteed. There's nothing to worry about. The giant arrow works 100% of the time and doing exactly what you'd expect it to do. There's kind of no guesswork there. And so Leo has got a great entry point now to the core of the base with these Root Riders getting all the way inside, shutting down the CC with a freeze, and with a rage, you know that that's going to go down. The 2 stars are claimed already, and Savage Elite just need to clean up for the 3rd to try to get back in this match, Eric.
Yeah, just got to get the king to continue to tank for the queen over there. He's got the giant gauntlet and the rage vial quickly surging his way forward. Queen saying, well, not very safe behind him as she gets taken out, and then the healers get hit by black air bombs with the world champion surging her way across here. And he's looking with that skeleton spell to have the punch that he needs. He's got a lot of force there wrapping around. He's still moving relatively fast, so he's not, I don't think we're going to see like a traditional time fail at any point during these wars. That'd be very, very bizarre if we did. But this one does lock in for Leo. Savage Elite will get a trip on the board, but they're still trailing by 2 stars, and that 1 star is going to haunt them for the rest of the match there, and they're just praying for a defense.
Yeah, one of the things to think about when you get that ricochet cannon and the multi-archer tower, you're merging multiple different structures. You're having fewer things to have to worry about in the end. I mean, they're bigger defenses, they have more hit points, but time fails just do not seem to be an issue here at Town Hall 16. This year has been fast and furious in terms of hits. These Root Rider attack strategies are just like completely demolishing defenses left and right, leaving little to the imagination on attack. I mean, you can go with Root Riders and a level head, and you've got a solid chance of getting to 3 stars as long as you don't have any big surprises on defense. So high level hero equipment once again here coming in from Ghost, HTM Esports. ahead by 2 stars in the mid-war now, and with the battle blimp cruising on through, targeting this monolith and getting a few drops off early on. Yeti's got a little bit distracted there, and they're now having a little bit more trouble with the ice golem shutting down, but the monolith does go down, Eric, and that'll set up for the initial pull here now.
Yeah, like I said, it's when you see a miss on the board there, their game plans change completely. This is an attack that you would absolutely not see if they were going for time. This is a slow play right here with the initial setup there, with the blimp to go set up the pathing for the queen. A queen charge in general is completely unheard of until we see a miss on the board. And it never stopped being a strong attack there. It's always been a strong attack. It always will be a strong attack there. And we'll see the queen make her way towards the middle of the base there. And she does need to get into the very, very core. She's going for the wall break down for the very bottom quarter of the base there. Will wall breaker in, so she will get the access she's looking for. And Riders and King giving some fantastic support on left flank there. We'll just move along the outside and get the queen to support. Provide some cross tanking here so they can work in parallel. And they will ultimately split up the damage and protect each other as a natural result of that. So looking good here. Off to a very strong start here for Ghost as he pushes his way to the core.
I think the most impressive thing to me about watching Clash of Clans esports at the highest competitive level, and especially with the current meta, is that there's a completely different skill set that's being deployed here now. Players who are able to adapt on the fly, especially if you're later in the lineup, if you're attacking 3rd, 4th, or 5th, you've got a little bit of time to have maybe plan A, plan B, if things go really well on defense, and you can take a safe strategy that spends a lot of time, but it's pretty much guaranteed to get the 3-star. You have a lot of different options in your toolkit and can really flex those muscles in different ways that opponents really cannot shut down. Ghost is gonna get the 3-star here. It's not gonna be one of the quick ones. In fact, it might be the slowest 3-star of the day so far, but he should have an easy time cleaning up the back end now, still with another Rage and Freeze left to deploy. Just adjusts his mic and scratches his neck. This was a pretty easy cleanup for him, looking like he didn't even break a sweat, Eric.
Yeah, smooth sailing right there. They definitely can put a triple out especially when you don't have the time being just kind of forced upon you, and you have to go extremely fast. And sometimes when you have to go really, really fast, it becomes a little bit more uncontrolled. And trying to maintain control of things while trying to keep a pace of like a minute to a minute and 20-second attack, like when you're trying to push those kinds of speeds, it's much more difficult to sustain control over all different parts of the attack at the same time. But when we can slow things down, we can see the attack was very well structured, and he just marched his way right to the core of the base there. No sweat on that one, like you said. But now we go back over to Savage Elite, and they can slow things down as well. So they're going to have the same advantage of not being under the time pressure, but it just makes so that the chances of HTM missing is slowly dwindling. But you said it's almost impossible to get a defense. Well, I don't know if anything is impossible in Clash of Clans right now, because even small mistakes can amplify. We're going to see Bernal open up with another giant arrow. This one get a little bit more value than the previous one. It was a little bit better aimed. Bernal's been using the giant arrow a lot recently, and he is very, very good at getting exactly what his targets are with it. And the setup gets the funnel for the Root Riders, and will make so that they go directly into the core of the base. And look how clean that is because of the couple buildings taken out by that giant arrow.
Bernal is back at home now with his fellow Brazilians competing on this Savage Elite lineup. He used to play with them on the INTZ and Space Station Gaming banners, left the squad in 2023, but is back with them once again. He's the only one who doesn't have a World Championship title to his name. He competed with a different team last year, and so back again with them. We'll be hoping that he can get the golden ticket this time around and have that accolade earned while he's on the roster. Bernal has looped around this base, just as we saw in so many attacks so far from Savage Elite already. Getting everything but the core finished off, still with super minions and super barbarians getting that edge finished off as they collapse down to the center. Bernal's just gonna kind of rub his mustache again, because he knows that there's not a whole lot left to do. The deploy was so quick, fast, furious. This was not one of the safe 3-stars that we've seen. This was all gas, no brakes, pedal to the metal. And like, as soon as we start casting, it's like this thing is already over, Eric. 1 minute and 17 seconds for Bernal to demolish the space.
Yeah, I mean, if they've been practicing for speed, then sometimes it's better to just stay what you've been practicing with, because sometimes, like we said, the overgrowth with the town hall being covered makes so that you end on the town hall, which has the natural inherent risk to cause the 1-star, but at the same time, being able to avoid the blast and the poison does give you a big leg up in the attack there, and it can actually make so that the consistency of the triple is much higher. So I like what he did there. I like what he did. It was a very, very well-structured attack there. He had it under control the entire time. I like the addition of the giant arrow, especially when you pair it with the healer puppet there, because then if you're going to pop the equipment the moment that you drop, to make sure that you can line up that shot there for the giant arrow and get the exact value you're looking for, and you want to make sure you don't waste the other piece of equipment. So the healer puppet is a perfect addition to that. However, now we go back over to HTM Esports, and it is Rigo Torres as he goes in with some lightning, and we'll set it up for a Lalo. He does lean on the Zap for the Lalo. It's always been one of his favorites all the way back from, like, he's been competing since Town Hall 12 was max. And so he's been using this attack this entire time. He loves it, and we'll see what he can do. One of the best Lalo attackers in the world to make his way forward.
Yeah, he's not alone in favoring Lalo. It's been in the meta since basically the beginning of Clash of Clans esports. I remember back in like 2017, we were watching Lalo attacks, and they are still super, super powerful. Big tank out in front and balloons to drop the bombs on defense is what's not to love, right? Rigo Torres continues to adapt though, and as you said, he's using Zap Lalo this time around, trying to shut down as many of those air defenses as possible early on to keep those high-flying troops safe. King with the Phoenix is going to have a little bit more time left on the board to knock a few more buildings apart and clear out some more space for this Archer Queen, but she's going to be going along to the bottom side of the base. Might get to engage this enemy Grand Warden and the Royal Champion before she gets taken down. Unicorn doing its best to keep her alive. It gets finished off. Rigo is setting up beautifully for the deploy on the left side now, and the corner deploy is good from the left and the bottom side simultaneously. A two-pronged attack, Eric.
Absolutely, but here goes the Warden in for the very bottom. You need to pop the Warden ability to protect him from the headhunters. They're going his way. I like that Phoenix is up at the top right corner, just clearing out that area with that baby dragon, and there's no defense over there that can target them, so they're just going to kind of do their own thing over there and take out the defenses that you would have to go through the Town Hall to get to. But speaking of Town Hall, the Bloom does land at the Town Hall, frees up all the defenses around it, and there is troops coming in from every direction at the same time. There's no chance that they can hold back this many balloons coming in from every direction that they could come in from at the point, and he's just gonna easily overwhelm the defenses here. It's a triple. He's absolutely got under control, and they just need to hold on for one more attack, and they will send our defending world champions down to the lower bracket. I mean, this has been smooth sailing. This has been a very, very smooth war for them, and with the pressure, with so much pressure being taken off of them so early, it's not too big of a surprise here that they're able to just easily just keep on marching forward.
Yeah, Scattershot, not necessarily one of the best defenses to leave until the very end, but with Rigo Torres still holding on to at least a dozen balloons in the sky. Plenty of, look at that, he has a Lava Hound that didn't even pop yet. The 3-star is secured, and there's just one more attack left now for HTM to have to get the triple before they can claim a perfect war against the world champions. Savage Elite need to get back-to-back 3 stars and then hope for a 1-star defense of their own if they want to have any shot at all at still winning this war. Seems like very slim pickings for them at this point, but we'll see how well they can keep it up as they go into their 4th attack next. Not far behind on percentage at all, but those few buildings that they missed earlier on off the 1-star strike from Pato are really going to leave them short, Eric.
What's really interesting is if you look at the attack times right now, we're showing 1 minute and 40 for HTM and 1 minute and 32. Yes, we did see them change their game plan there to slow things down and go for different approaches, and that's the way that they should be playing it. But if we still had the tight pressure on, do you think that we would have maybe had some potential mistakes that happened when people are trying to rush plans? Because if they were switching plans to go into slower plans and switch away from the they probably already had as their first instinct of the base to go fast, then we could be seeing something different than if we didn't see the 1-star. And at the moment, Savage Elite would have had the time advantage and we'd be looking at a completely different war. But yeah, that one little mistake there with the overgrowth wearing off and trying to get back into the core there and not quite having the spell support, like one more freeze could have been the entire difference of this war right now.
There still is quite a bit of variety in base design at Town Hall 16. I'm pretty happy to see that they're providing at least a bit of a challenge to attackers in terms of how to wrap their heads around this base. Even if they're feeling pretty confident that they can get the triple, they still want to try to eke out any seconds that they can get from slowing down attackers in any way that they can. So yeah, offense and defense even though it's sort of a different sort of balance, still provides a lot of entertaining value to watch here. And I'm happy to see how this fourth attack turns out for Savage Elite. Even if they're very far behind, they know that they want to get that 3-star secured and find any chance that they possibly have at a defense on their last round. I think that they're probably starting to pivot mentally toward the lower bracket, thinking about who they're going to have to face off. We do know that in match 6, there's going to be an opportunity for the team that dropped in match 1 and 4. So I think match 2, the loser is going to go up against whoever loses in match 3. So they'll definitely have their eyes open throughout the remainder of the day as they prepare for whatever comes next for them. But we'll see now Loop from Savage Elite taking the 4th attack in. Fairly standard setup here from the hero equipment, and Siege Barracks out on the left side dropping some heavy P.E.K.K.A.s to get some funneling done early on here, Eric.
And we've been seeing a lot of people switching over to Siege Barracks once they get out of the new 5th level to it and make so that it spawns 2 P.E.K.K.A.s instead of 1. We're seeing the use of it significantly increase, but usually we only see it when we have to push time to be the main factor of the deciding factor of these wars. When you're trying to move quick, then it can make a big difference there. But the P.E.K.K.A.s get wrecked on the left side of the base there before they even get the air defense down. He'll get his way to the core, but that left side air defense is definitely going to potentially cause some problems here. He does have the overgrowth locking out the town hall, which means he's once again going to accept the risk and going to make so that the damage is reduced in the core, but the town hall will stay standing while he makes his way potentially away from it as the dragons arrive into the area.
Holding onto a jump spell now that's gonna, was intended, I think, to give the king easy access to the top side, but he wanders around the outer edge instead. Queen is following right behind, so that jump spell is gonna get completely counterfeited. No value there for Loop. He's freezing now the interior of the base, kind of hoping that the dragons will just finish it off so that he can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, knowing he at least got the 2-star here. But that's gonna be an awkward finish now, as that monolith can do a lot of damage to heroes. If it gets an unfortunate lock onto the Archer Queen, or even get some big shots off against the dragon, that can really slow things down. Looks like the Royal Champion will be able to loop around, and with some protection from that hog puppet tool that she had, it looks like the equipment is going to be enough to finish off the rest of the space. Loop is going to be happy with the 3-star for sure, even though it didn't go quite according to plan. He didn't waste too much time there either, and will be pretty satisfied, I think, with the 3-star in a minute 34, Eric.
I was a little concerned there for a second at the town hall when he had the double sweeper knocking the dragons back, and then he had the freeze, but he put it on only the town hall and not the sweeper. And then you see him, before that freeze even finished, he then started burning additional freezes trying to shut the sweepers down. And so he did make some nice adjustments there to get the town hall down, to make sure that he wasn't getting a double knockback. And that was a critical point of that attack there, to make sure that he ultimately was able to get through. But now this war is in Agent 33's hands. He's gonna put this faith in the Electro Dragons. It's an anti-2-star base. He'll put bat spells onto the monolith and the air defenses and the defensive grand border, shutting out a lot of the damage right there with minimal investment. And he's just gonna hold on to his other spells for now, just push his way, slow push through that monolith, and he'll get the rage towers burned to the core of the base there. And we'll see what kind of damage is gonna be incoming at him as he gets to the core. But we gotta get the town hall down. It feels like he's going for, he's gonna put a more conservative play here and go with the E-Drags just to make sure that that town hall goes down, because as soon as that town hall drops, then they have the win in the bag and they'll advance to face off against VM Legacy in the upper bracket. And there it is. He's got it locked in. No risk on that one, but let's see if he can coast all the way to the triple here, Woody.
Victory secured for HTM Esports. They have defeated the world champions in this qualifier. Savage Elite are going to be knocked on their back heels now. The question remains whether this is a triple or not. You know, we asked the king himself, Erling Haaland, if he thinks that Electro Dragons are a legit strategy, and they were endorsed by the football pro. He said that Electro Dragons are in the game. He uses them every once in a while on his own attacks, and so I can't see any reason why Agent 33 shouldn't be allowed to indulge in his 5th hit here, knowing that he doesn't even need the triple for his team to win, to take it down. Still, Royal Champion with the stab at the multi-inferno there and going for that last defense. The Builder's Hut is eliminated. And it's all thumbs up from Agent 33, the 3-star secured, and HTM Esports have done it, Eric, with a triple to finish things off. This is a perfect war from them.
Very, very well done. And like, if they didn't purposely slow things down, they would have a lot faster attack times as well. But I think that Agent made 100% the right decision on that one. Like, we could have gone with the Root Riders and a lot of other attacks there that can be risky with like blimps and stuff like that to go secure town halls. And there's a lot of different ways that you could have played that. But I think when the town hall was reachable with the E-Drags and a basic funnel, I don't think there was any reason to take any risk on that. When you already have a 1-star defense and you're 2 stars up, like, you just got to play the safe 2-star. It's the smartest thing to do right there, and it doesn't even matter what happens after that in that situation. All that mattered was that he made sure, no matter what, that he gets the 2 stars, and he'll choose a strategy specifically based on that analysis. But now we go to the final attack of the war here. It's out of reach here, but let's see if Seleno can get one on the books here and put his team up to 13 stars and maybe pad his stat line a little bit there as they get ready to go down into the lower bracket, and we'll see later on who their opponent's going to be down there. But looks like he'll make his way forward here. He's got the overgrowth once again, and we'll see what he decides to overgrowth. But almost always when we see the overgrowth in the core of the base, we want to leave part of the core out of the overgrowth, and we want to put a lot of it inside of the overgrowth, but specifically the town hall goes into overgrowth so we can return back to it later on and avoid the town hall blast and poison.
Yeah, you know, true fans that have watched this match, Eric, will know the story of what happened here for Savage Elite, but unfortunately, anyone who didn't see the match is going to see at most 13 stars on the scoreboard and just kind of ask, what happened here? Did they miss twice? Seleno really does not want to leave a big question for fans out there, and so he wants that triple here and now to at least give the appearance on the scoreline that it was a close one. It certainly was indeed, and so if he can get that 13-star total, at least they can go down to the lower bracket knowing that it was just a few buildings that they left behind in this war, and give them that hope that they can make the same sort of march as last month, and see a golden ticket awarded to a lower bracket team. Seleno's going a little bit slow now as he's lost most of his Root Riders. Still has an appreciable clump over on the right corner of the base there, but going up against a scatter shot, he might lose 1 or 2 more. Valkyrie's getting a little bit low on hit points. This is still looking like a 3-star, Eric, but it is just showing some of the weakness here for Savage Elite, just going a little bit slower, a little bit more cautious, a little bit lighter than the overwhelming victories that we were seeing from HTM Esports.
Yeah, and you definitely got to think about the psychological impact of a war like this, where he's gonna barely crawl through a triple here. Like, this is very, very, like, another 2 or 3 shots onto that water there, and that would have been a miss. However, he does lock it in. He crawls across the finish line there at 2 minutes and 5 seconds, but I think they need to mentally get their head in the game here. I think when you start off a war with a 1-star, it's a major hit to the confidence of the team in general, and it just changes your entire mentality. It boosts the morale of the opponent's team, because then they have a lot of pressure taken off. They can slow things down, and it does, especially when it happens early in the war like that, have a big impact on the rest of the war. But as it stands, it is going to be a 15-13 win as HTM Esports are going to upset my predictions on this one here. And I guess Itsu is the only one who gets to stay with a perfect prediction on this one here, as he got both of them right there on the first 2 rounds. And now we have our upper and lower bracket set here as we get ready to move forward and get into this first upper bracket match.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights from that last round. Itsu's going to be very happy that his prediction came through, but Carbon and I are going to be in the same boat as you, Eric. The highlights now are going to be showing on screen as we see the best attacks from this last war and the obliterating defenses, in fact, as Pato just rubs his forehead in disbelief seeing the defenses hold on there. Mohamed Marawi back at it again, though. It was 3 stars across the board for the rest of them. Town Hall's going down really late in these attacks, though, Eric.
Yeah, it was interesting that the attack from Pato and Mohamed Marawi, like, if you looked at the end there, like, they were almost identical in how they finished. But even like with Bernal, like, almost every single one of these attacks here that used to overgrowth in the Root Riders and go against these center town hall bases, they almost always end on the town hall. There's so much risk in that, and it only takes 1 attack to throw a war on its head and just completely turn it around. And we saw it here, and that means that at any point during any of these wars, they can all play for the golden ticket. With nobody eliminated yet, they always have to have that in the back of their mind. Is are you going to have the force to get those last couple of defenses down when you're used to overgrowth, or you're going to end up with a 1-star like we saw in this case right here. But there's our final match results there, as we see the only one miss there from Pato, and that's all that cost them. And it's crazy that 3 buildings can have that big of an impact.
Yeah, I believe that was a 97% 1-star. That very unfortunate for him. The last 2 defenses that were also sitting right next to the town hall defending against the remaining Root Riders, they're both scatter shots. So big, heavy, bulking defenses that made it very difficult to clean up the last little bit of the base, though. Savage Elite with 13 stars are going to be kicked down to the lower bracket, as HTM Esports will continue a monster run along the top side of this bracket, and we'll find another opportunity to impress us again with potentially another win. We've got 4 more wars left for today, and we hope that you'll be sticking around throughout all of them. I know that we are going to be able to bring back our other 2 casters pretty soon and get their thoughts on what's been going on. Eric, I know Itsu has just been sitting in the background, happy, pleased that he, alongside the viewers out there, got the correct prediction on this last round of matches. So before we bring them back in, let's just congratulate the MVP from this last round. It was Rigo Torres, coming in with 27% of the fan vote, over twice as much as the next 2 players, Mohammed Marawi and Agent 33. Honorable mentions there for their performance in this war.
Yeah, and as many as we like to point out that Nick has so many championships in the past there, Rigo Torres is definitely a crowd favorite. But I mean, welcome back to Carbon Finn and Itsu. What do you guys think about that? That's kind of a crazy match to start with a 1-star. What do you think about that, Carbon?
Yeah, crazy. It set the tone for the match really early. The 1-star, you could see in the player emotion how defeated they were, because they know a 1-star means that they're 99.999% chance of losing after that. But it's happened. 1-stars, and there's been 2 defenses to make a comeback, so it is possible, but very unlikely. But really, the storyline is, Itsu, you're 2 for 2. Tell us your secrets.
I mean, I told you, just drink tea. And all will be fine. It's amazing. No, but by all seriousness, I feel like this match was really close anyways, and a lot of those matches are coming down to the first attacks and who can then snowball on those first leads, I guess. And this was exactly what happened with this match. We had the world champions falling behind early and had no chance to recover because HTM were just playing it safe and really clean with their attacks, getting those 3 stars in and their attacks in general.
Yeah, that's what you got to do in that situation, though. If you see a defense, it does have a big impact on how you play for the rest of the match. You have to play what is happening. You have to make the adjustments, and that's what these guys are able to do. They see the opportunity to take the time pressure off and go with different attacks there, and they're going to take full advantage of it.
Well, heavy hangs the crown. Our world champions have entered another monthly qualifier with a lot of expectations, but so far are still yet coming up short. The sword of Damocles lingers above their head, dangling just above execution now, with the possibility of elimination if they lose their next match. They'll be down in the lower bracket with another chance to try to make it back up toward the top, but it's going to be HTM Esports, another team scoring a perfect war once again, to march onward along the top side. These predictions are getting even more difficult as we get into matches where teams are upsetting expectations and showing us that they can rewrite the script on the fly. They can change their attack strategies. They can go for safe 3 stars instead of trying to blast forward at full speed, guns blazing for a quick war. Carbon, let's take another look at the bracket and let's hear your thoughts on round 2.
Yeah, with round 2, we've got the first and second seeded teams finally ready for action. Early Attacks and VM Legacy have been waiting. They did the best through the previous round in stage 2, which has earned their spot to get a bye. So now it's their turn with the very next match that's going to be Early Attacks versus Disney Esports. Then we're going to have VM Legacy taking on HTM Esports. And then matches 5 and 6 in the bottom left in the lower bracket, which means that we will be sending 2 teams home today to be able to then find out who's going to get a golden ticket tomorrow. So we got a ton more matches to come, but This one is unanimous across the board. Everyone going with early attacks here. Itsu, are you going to go 3 for 3, or am I going to jinx you? Or I guess more, is Woody and I going to jinx you, because both of us have both predictions wrong so far.
2 versus 1 is not fair, right? So that's not how it works. But to me, early attacks has to be the favorite in this entire qualifier. They are just looking so good. Stats-wise, I mean, that's something I love to look at. And I feel like it's their time to shine in this qualifier, and that's why I'm just going with them. They had quick attacks that were consistent, and this to me is why they are my pick for this one, even though their opponents were showing up really strong. Eric already mentioned they were renaming. That's why you might not have their name in your head currently, but they're incredibly strong as well, and it's going to be a crazy match.
So I was looking at the questionnaires that the players were doing as they were getting ready for these matches, and they were asked who their most feared opponents were, and almost every single team, almost across the board there, seemed to all call out early attacks. And I think that is telling to why we are all choosing early attacks in this match as well. They've been playing at the very, very top of the game. They played in last year's World Championship as well. They do have some big roster changes, but Yada's still the heart of that team, still marching his way forward and carrying that team into another World Championship qualifier. And they have a lot of fans out there that are cheering them on. And I think when they were asked themselves, they actually said that they most feared VM Legacy. So apparently some beef between those two teams right now. And I guess we will potentially see them face off in a match later on, depending on what happens to these.
Well, VM Legacy, certainly a scary team, but not one that they're going to have to go up against quite next. Early attacks have done an amazing job in this month's qualifier, though, and I think one of the reasons why I have a lot of confidence for them is that they picked up a perfect warp with 15 stars to 12 over Savage Elite in the qualifier. That's one of the reasons why they are the #1 seed right now. Early attacks also defeated Tribe Gaming in the qualifier, another big name knocked down and about. So early attacks have got a lot going for them this month. They performed really well so far. They're the #1 seed. I mean, what else is there to say? It's unanimous across the board. I guess we'll just get a chance to see soon whether or not the fans out there are agreeing with the casters up here, what the prediction is going to come through in terms of these next two teams, Carbon.
Yeah, because this next match that we're going to have is indeed the #1 seeded team, Early Attacks, taking on Dizzy Esports. We're looking at the percentage. Dizzy Esports got the percentage lead a little bit, 99.5, but Early Attacks just barely edging on stars, which is the most important stat at 14.6. Early Attacks has a very strong lineup here, Itsu.
Yeah, and take a look at those hit rates. That is just impressive. Only one player below the 90% and one player still perfect. That is just mind-blowing to me, even in the current meta. And I mean, it's going to be hard to beat them. And we have as well some highlights from their last qualifier where they played already in as well.
What's interesting is you look across the roster for their team, that they're all in different uniforms in there. You see representation from a bunch of different esports orgs that have played throughout the years here. And that's what's really interesting about what Yada has brought together here for this team. Yada played in last year's World Championship, but then they've changed up their roster completely. He's revamped it and just kind of picked off a handful all-star players from all over the world and brought them into basically a super team right here. And they've absolutely been performing. I think we'll hopefully see this team a lot more in the future. But on the other side here, DZ Esports, you see a lot of them in the DZ uniform there, but we still see representation from a lot of other esports orgs from throughout the years. Remember that we saw them play as KOG in the past. We saw them play as X Team. We saw them play as Pentaflare. And so another very, very seasoned group of players here. And I think that the stat line is actually about even across the board here, like you said, as we look across. Nobody's perfect on this team. Nobody's completely flawless. And so anybody is always primed to maybe make a mistake there. I guess we'll see what happens as they get into the match here. But very interesting lineups from both of these teams here, Woody.
Yeah, I think super group really is the right word to describe them. Early Attacks has two players that are from the same country, NYU and Yada. But besides that, yeah, they're pulling the best talent that they can from around the world. And the same can actually be said of the number 2 seeded team. VM Legacy has got 5 players, all from 5 different countries. In some cases speaking different languages, but all speaking the language of Clash. They know how to get those 3 stars. They trust each other through and through. And it seems like that's what's providing success right now at this stage of the tournament. Will that be enough to get a golden ticket? We may find out in the next 24, 48 hours. Early Attacks have a chance now to see if that success can continue to hold, or will it be faltering here on the main stage as the bracket is now narrowing down. The final 6 here are still now only 4 that are undefeated in the upper bracket. The vote is in, though, from our fans at home, and it's 54% for Early Attacks to 46% for Dizzy Esports. So still a pretty close match here, but they are tipping in our favor, guys.
Man, what a match we have here, as we are indeed going to be saying goodbye to Itsu and Woody. You'll be on the sidelines watching this match. You'll be back. So that means it is now Eric and we are ready to go for match number 3 here of today. We got 6 total matches. 2 teams will be getting eliminated and going home, or I guess staying home. I mean, they're going to be trying to get a golden ticket to go to Worlds, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of Clash Esports this weekend and even for the rest of the months to come. I cannot wait. Let's see if the number 1 seeded Early Attacks, if they could get jinxed by us casters.
Oh, everybody's looking to get jinxed by us, but I was just looking up the ELO ratings for DZ Esports. They're currently ranked, I guess, number 3 in the world, where Early Attacks is number 14 in the world out of all of the competitions, World Championship, and also for community tournaments. So you're looking at very, very, very high-end teams here, but if you just ran it by recent tournament action, then DZ Esports would actually be the favorite of this match, even though Early Attacks tends to seem to be the fan favorite. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time that we'll see Early Attacks play today. Let's kick into this. This is for the upper bracket semifinals of our World Championship qualifiers. DZ Esports kicks us off today against Early Attacks, and Ueda will kick us off with some Root Riders, Carbon.
Yeah, coming right on with that king into the multi-arch tower, ground expo, and going to pull out the clan castle nice and early while the queen is following right behind. With that warden, going to go in with the Root Riders to the top side, freezing up that single target Inferno, so he keeps at least one of the Root Riders alive. Looked like it locked onto that. As the Super Barbarians come to the top to help establish more of a final, as the warden ability is being used, but he's still being delayed with that overgrowth.
Just need to get the overgrowth to lock out the town hall, but notice how they put the overgrowth to leave up a couple of the buildings in the core of the base there, so that he has targets for the king and the queen to target there and try to thin out the core and make so that when he does return to that area, he has less damage to go under. But he also gets the overgrowth onto the monolith over the left side of the base there, holding on to 2 freezes and a rage. And we want those to be able to go back into the town hall, but we also need to make sure we have enough force to get back into the town hall. And so he'll burn one of the freezes to prevent some troops from dying off on the left side of the base. And now the overgrowth wears off, and now he's going to push back into the town hall and make sure that this risky play doesn't turn into a 1-star.
And with the Root Riders coming through the bomb tower, that Grand Warden unfortunately is getting locked down by the Monolith, so he's going to go down. The Queen has secured that town hall, reaches over the wall, Monolith goes down, and this is looking good here for a 3-star for Dizzy Esports to start it off. Well done to you with about a minute and a half remaining in this attack. And that is a great way to set the tone here for Dizzy Esports. Coming in with the Root Riders and Valkyries, coming at a total time of 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Very impressive stuff here for Ueda, but is that fast enough there is the question you have to ask, because as fast that they have been, I feel like Early Attacks has been playing even faster than that. So they got to keep the pedal to the metal here as we get ready for Achilles. He's a Portuguese player out of Brazil. We've seen him play through the pro scene a lot, and new recent addition here to Early Attacks roster for the 2024 season. And we'll see what he can do, because he's been very, very impressive. But he's also going to be breaking out the Root Riders. We do see the overgrowth once again. Double poison tower on this base, and making sure that he gets some force right into the artillery very, very early with the skeleton spill up there. Queen over to the far right, and going to work with the king over there, but also puts in the siege bricks down at the very, very bottom of the base there. But that Monolith and the Tesla farm going to cause some problems with the Pekkas down there. So I'm not sure if he's going to get as much value as he'd be hoping for down in that area there if he gets pinned inside of the Monolith range.
Yeah, and that Royal Champion pulled the Pekkas a little bit closer to the wall, taking them down as the Overgrowth was used here on the Town Hall, also stalling off the Poison spell as he's trying to continue his way through the core. But the Queen will get stuck on this Lava Hound here a little bit as she tries to continue her push through as the Root Riders are making their way up and around and deploying the Super Barbarian slowly around the base.
I'm noticing that a lot of the spring traps are on the outside of the base there. On all those perimeter defenses, it seems like we see spring traps directly blocking the some of the Super Barbarians from going into them. So we had to deploy extras. He had extras on standby, luckily, and he just needs to get to this bottom quarter reinforcer, which is definitely the area where the Super Barbarians would have been needing to be used. But with the extra having to be used there to account for the spring traps, he's still going to end up pushing through there. But I'm looking at that clock there. Remember, 1 minute and 28 seconds is the mark to beat to get his team into lead here. You have to go back into the core of the base there. The Town Hall Poison will be faded by the time he gets there, and it does look like he will put his team into an early lead, but by the slimmest of margins as he locks that one in with only a couple seconds faster than DZ Esports.
Great attack there, coming in with the Root Riders and Valks moving up and around the base and really pairing into that Overgrowth, getting some fantastic value at 1 minute 24, meaning they have the lead at the moment, and they're looking to continue to try to lower that time. But we haven't had a perfect yet. So at this point, it's really come down to that fail that's happened in each one of the matches. And all it takes is one to make you lose a match like this.
Absolutely. You can't let your guard down. That's the biggest thing here. You cannot let the pressure get to you. There's a lot on the line here. You're playing the upper bracket. You want to stay in the upper bracket because if you drop down to lower bracket, you have to play through a few extra matches there, and it makes your path significantly more difficult. But on top of that, if you arrive into the grand finals from the upper bracket, you only have to win one. You only have to win once to claim the golden ticket. So it's so much easier to try to take it from the upper bracket than to fall down and have to play through all those extra matches. And so that's what they're gunning for here. But we go into Kai as we go for the second exchange beginning. Another Root Rider attack here. Pretty standard equipment across the board here for the heroes. And that is the most meta attacks, most meta equipment there, as we see the generally most universally strong pieces of equipment being used into this one here to support Root Riders. And once again, it is an islanded off Town Hall with a lot of heavy defenses there. And I'd like to see the Overgrowth used, but I don't want it to hit the center of the core. We want to leave up a handful of buildings in the core to make sure that we have targets to go in and try to thin it out a little bit there. So I want to see it offset just slightly in one direction or the other, and that's what he does right there. Just kind of hit the Eagle Artillery, but leave up a couple of targets there so we can thin it out and make sure that the Town Hall is right on the edge of the Overgrowth so we never have to go through the Poison or the Blast.
Yeah, with that Queen and King coming through the top side, utilizing that jump spell, looking to clear the funnel up top while he has the Root Riders Valks continuing their way to the bottom side with another 2 freezes and a rage still to use, looking to pair all these troops together to help come together and take out that Town Hall. He does invest that final rage spell for the Royal Champion ability and crushing through the core. And just past the 60-second mark, we're hitting, now hitting into the 70s there, and fantastic. Getting another triple here for Dizzy Esports, and he's looking to lower that time from 1 minute 28 average for this team to 1 minute 20 now.
Very impressive. 1 minute and 12 seconds, like a 72-second attack right there. That is very, very exceptionally good. Like, I think anytime they go under 1 minute and 20, you know that they gotta be feeling happy about that. That's the caliber of attack right there, the attack speed that they need to be able to pull off to be able to get to the World Championship. I think if they can sustain fast attacks like that, they have a really, really good chance of taking down early attacks. But we've also seen the early attacks is also just as capable of going at that pace as well. And after their fast start, they're going to have to pick things up as well, even faster, as we go in with Imran, with also pretty standard meta equipment there. Those are the best pieces of equipment that I would recommend that most people upgrade because they're just universally strong with almost any attack that you pair it with. There's no hijinks, there's no gimmicks, it's just pure raw power. And here we go. Imran will make his way forward with the Root Riders, and once again, we're going to see the Overgrowth, and we want to think about the same fundamentals with the Overgrowth. Hit the Town Hall, but put on the edge of the Overgrowth and lock out as many defenses around it, but thin the area around it out as we make our way forward.
Yeah, with the Warden ability protecting them and that healing tome to look to heal them up as well, that Siege Barracks is clearing that top side. Those P.E.K.K.A.'s getting some nice value with the Wizards behind, and his heroes running all the way down to the bottom side with the wall break. Nice for that Queen, so she can step in, grab that multi-target Inferno, and the Overgrowth was now finally used as he's wrapping his way around.
Got the jump to get the King to push into the very bottom of the base there, but he's going to be taken out before he can really even get through the jump right there. He's already going to Phoenix right there. Maybe get a couple shots over the wall there, but the World Champion, with him providing tanking in that area, he's able to step in and get the single Inferno down while it goes full beam onto him under Phoenix. That means nothing for him as he was invincible, but now he's got to go back to the core, holds on to a freeze, pulls on to a rage, or in fact 2 freezes, and now he can push his way back in, leave the Town Hall at the very end. Super Barbarians drop it in as he had access to them directly into the model to the very top of the base, and the Town Hall will be one of the final builds to go down, but it's absolutely crushed, and they've got a triple on the board. But what was the attack time on that one there? Let's see it log and see exactly where they stand between them, and look at the time split. 1 second of average attack time split. 1:18 as Imran gets it done for early attacks.
It is close. Matter of a few seconds in terms of the total time there. And literally, it could go either way. They're basically tied here. Obviously, triples apiece, exact same percentage. But when it comes down to it, if it is indeed that perfect war, which we haven't seen here today, we did see it in last month's monthly finals. But I'm assuming we will eventually see this weekend a perfect war where time will indeed come down to be a factor, and sometimes it usually happens towards the second day when these teams had started to be getting the nerves, the jitters out of the way. Now they can really focus and be getting those perfect wars.
And they have to play, like, you see that they're going fast here. They're pushing the time limits all the way down as low as they can get them. They have to put the pressure onto the other team. You put the pressure onto the other team, and that's part of the game plan. That is to get the other team to make mistakes, because if they buckle under the pressure, they rush attacks, they make mistakes, then that is where you see these wars potentially swing into a 2-star, or even just an attack just kind of missing out on a single building here or there and having to go back for and cost a lot of time. So we'll see what happens, but Chen is in for DZ Esports, as we do see Rubart is in for the far right, the King to take the jump into the middle, and the Queen will work on the top flank there, and a Golem will get out in front of her a little bit early in that Golem there, but it is down in time to be able to make, so the Expos on the left side of the artillery locks onto that instead of the King. That preserves the King's HP, so lots of little things that are all working together here and attacking almost every side of the base simultaneously.
And he does indeed use that overgrowth, which clips the monolith to prevent it from hitting his troops, as the Queen is following behind that Golem from the top side, just dies off, so the Queen can now reach over the wall, grab an Expo, an Inferno Tower, grab the Ricochet Cannon, as that Tassel Farm does pop to the bottom side with a bunch of skeletons. But that's where the Valkyries can really help and absolutely smash through a skeleton trap. That the Queen now also continues to the top, moving his way and trying to wrap his way back to the Town Hall. He only has a handful of spells left. Looking to keep this Queen alive as these these Root Riders and the RC push right through that rage spell.
Past the 1 minute mark now, going into the range that they need to hit to be able to finish off the base, to be able to stay competitive in this war against the early tax times. But he does reach the Town Hall, leave the storage over to the far left there. He's going to have to go back over the areas that cost him a few seconds, but he'll finish wiping out the core of the base, get those final storages down, and then the World Champion does survive, surges her way across there, and this one is, so far, the slowest attack of the war at 1:30, but 1:30 is still very, very competitive with where they need to be right now. So the time, as we see, shifts over to 1:23 average as he locks that one in, and the pressure remains for early attacks.
The pressure indeed, it keeps building and building. Now as the 3 stars are coming in. As one of the final attackers in a match that is like this, you have to have 2 plans. You have to have one plan that is a quick attack, and then you have to have a second plan that is an even quicker attack that's even more risky, really, to be honest. Because these players, if they have to go for a safe 3-star, they have that in the bag. They know their strategies, the metas. They don't have to worry about that. They have to start to worry about, okay, do I have to go in with an attack that is 70 seconds? Something that is kind of being close to 60 or even under a minute, that's where they have to take different approaches. And if they're trying to hit an attack that's under a minute, that basically requires these attackers to drop troops at every single part of the base in every single different direction and try to overwhelm the base.
And it can be very difficult to manage all that multitasking, and that's where we see potential mistakes happen. But we do see the Riders drop to the very bottom of the base here. They clear with the Skeleton spell, disabling the Ricochet cannon to the far left. And the Siege Barracks will drop to the right and funnel the King into the base. So the King will take a jump into Skeleton spell and push into the single Inferno and the defensive road champion. Lots of value out of a Skeleton spell right there. But we do have...
King.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That's a bit of a problem right there. The King walked out of the base there. He'll try to reinforce it by putting Super Barbarians into that area, but that is a point of attack that is going to potentially cause all kinds of bigger problems.
Yeah, with that single target Inferno staying up, that's where the King ability would have been clutch to help remove that. But now the Super Minis coming out of that Siege Barracks gonna have to reach over, flying over these walls, hitting that single target Inferno, doing damage to these Root Riders, which was supposed to go down to that King.
Okay, he's got the Royal Champion with the Rage. As soon as the Overgrowth wears off, he has the Royal Champion right there in position to get the Town Hall down with the Hog Bump of the Haze Pile. Quickly powers their way through that, wipes out the core of the base, and now we can start to coast away in the final couple of buildings here. This Expo on the right is causing a little bit of a problem, but the Super Minis that came out of the Siege Barracks are going to reinforce in that area there. It can't target them. They're going to get it down, and that will be the last line of defense here. But every second that is lost there while he was handling that problem was an opportunity for the war to swing. But this one is actually going to come in faster, just slightly, just barely 2 seconds faster than the other one. And I think that actually is going to put them in the lead or not. I'm not really sure. I think they're going to be almost exactly tied on time here, Carbon. They are. Oh my goodness. Oh man.
Oh, here we go. Exactly 100% tied on stars, percentage, and time. It's basically, at this point, a 2 versus 2 war with the final 2 attacks from each team to come in. Who's going to win? Who's better? The better 2 players? Who's going to be the quickest, really, at this point? Good luck, as we're going to see Den Den going to be representing here for Dizzy Esports. Going to look to be even quicker now with his 3-star.
So I have noticed that Den Den recently has been using a lot of the spiky ball. So I'm very, very interested to see what he does with this one here, because if he breaks out of this one here, then that'd be really, really cool. And there it is. Spiky ball with giant gauntlet. Den Den will put this war on the line and see if he can get the spiky ball to get the value that he's looking for. But here we go. War's exactly tied. War's exactly tied down to the second as he makes his way forward with Root Riders in for the right. Siege Barracks all the way to the far right, and Golem with the heroes and a couple of the Root Riders down at the very bottom. And he'll start to push into the heroes down there with the Queen and the Eagle Artillery. But we do have that invisibility tower in the core of the base there. And often we like to see something to trigger that invisibility tower early so we don't have it going off on us. But he's just going to overgrowth it out and he'll deal with it later. That's future Den Den's problem.
What you have to think about when you're using an overgrowth is you can't use it too late, because the overgrowth's duration must fill out. It must go all the way through. So if you are trying to be quick with time and you wait for the overgrowth and you're trying to be under a certain time frame, well, if you drop the overgrowth too late, no matter what, you have to wait it out. So you have to be careful. And he uses it there so that he should now pass his way back to the town hall, but we also have an invisibility spell that will eventually get activated. So hopefully the Queen can help take out the town hall pretty quick.
No, it's going off here. Oh, he got it right as it goes off, and the Queen steps inside of the invisibility and will get extra protection as she pushes into the Ricochet cannon. There's the spiky ball, bouncing across the back into the base, hitting every remaining building, and he's absolutely got it, and he keeps it fast. That one locks it at exactly the average of the war. 1 minute and 23 seconds on the dot, as they will sustain their average. And oh my goodness, that was crazy there, Garvin.
Well, can the EA do an answer here? Can they be quicker than a minute 23? They are going to need to bring that average down. NYU is now up to you. If you bring another minute 23, oh my, it's a 1v1 at that point. It's whoever can be quicker, and still no fails yet. In each one of the previous matches, we've had either a 2-star or we've had a 1-star that's happened. Not yet here in this match, as now we are again now seeing the Root Riders, the Valks. We're seeing Siege Barracks, the Warden, Root Riders, King, Queen. You can start to see they're all coming down at once to kind of path their way through the base all in the same direction.
Gotta move through like a wave. The wave moves across the base. You can't leave any straggling buildings. You gotta make sure that everything's engaged. You have a plan for everything, and you gotta do it all at the same time. The multitasking of the attacks here is where the difficulty lies, and trying to maintain control while you do it is incredibly important. But there's the overgrowth, locking out everything across the top of the town hall, but clipping the town hall to make sure that he can avoid the blast and the poison. He's got skeletal spells just kind of blanketing across the base there, keeping these single portals under control for the most part. But he's got it all under control here, and so far he's looking quite good.
Now with the Royal Champion being deployed to the far left side, we do have a Rage coming over there as well, while the P.E.K.K.A. is is tanking that Ricochet cannon and now freezes the Town Hall with that King ability to crush right on through, popping the Queen ability, wall breaking his way up top. We're just passing the 1 minute mark as Super Barbarians are coming around this space with an RC ability still left to use pops it so she can haste her way through and run through these final defenses.
That last freeze there was kind of like, where do you put it? Where do you put it? Because there's threats on the left there's threats on the right, but he chose the Monolith. He got the Queen through a couple extra targets there, and he does lock it in at 1 minute and 20 seconds, and I think that puts them in the lead, just barely in the lead. This war is coming down to the separation of only seconds here. Every second is precious as we get ready to begin our final exchange.
1 second differential here going into the final set of attacks. The last attack you hear that is going to come in from Dizzy Esports is gonna be Yaga. Can he triple here for Dizzy? Most likely. We've been seeing it, 3 stars, but needs to lower that time, trying to be as close to the 60-second mark as possible. Leo's looking to defend here for early attacks. Remember, this is the upper bracket. Early attacks is coming in as the #1 seed here in this monthly finals. And if whoever wins continues their run in the upper bracket, if you lose, you get sent to the lower bracket and your tournament life will be on the line, which you will be playing later today, and you could indeed get eliminated and be going home here, as now we're seeing another spiky ball coming in here with a giant arrow and dragons.
Oh man, I mean, I don't think I've seen dragons use the spiky ball yet, and to pair it with a giant arrow on top of that, and to risk this World Championship Finals golden ticket competition on it is a very risky play. But I guess he gets the giant arrow to shoot across the base there. I think he got a sweeper out of it, right? Yeah, I think he did.
Yep.
And he'll now just have the dragon set up here as the Queen will finish the funnel there with the healer puppet, and the King will deploy right in front of her as the dragons make their way in. Overgrowth, but does not hit the town hall so that it can blimp the town hall. I like it. I like everything about this attack so far.
He also barely missed that back end poison spell, which they did launch to those balloons that came out of the blimp. But we have a nice split here from the dragons. Some of them going to the bottom side, clearing that, while the Queen and King pairing together up the top side. Even the Royal Champion is coming up there. So when he burns the abilities, they're going to be really able to get some fantastic value.
Gotta put the dragons in the test here. They have to move fast, and they are moving fast here, passing the 1 minute mark now. He's at the World Champion, pushing through, pops that spiky ball, shoots across the top of the base. They're not able to, whoa, my goodness, that thing goes forever. It just keeps going and going and going, but RC keeps going as well. She steps her way, gets their defense down, protecting the dragons. The rest of the dragons moving across the bottom of the base here, and he's moving fast. He's moving really, really fast. This is gonna put the pressure on to early attacks. This is exactly what they needed, and spiky ball, giant arrow, and dragons get it done as he puts out his cheer there, knowing what he's done. But the time, 1 minute and 28 seconds. And now early attacks is going to have to hit their rough average again to be able to win this one. So this is pressure on, but it is clearly within reach here of what early attacks is capable of.
Coming down to the final attack, with the final attack needing to be around 1 minute 23. They'll have it. They can start to approach higher, but we're going to see now Yada, final attacker for early attacks. They have a 2-second average duration lead in this match here. You win, you advance in the upper bracket. You lose, you go down to the lower bracket, and indeed, Yada's coming in with the Root Riders, the Velks. He's got a jump to be used with this King, and let's see if the King does indeed take the jump, because sometimes we've been seeing some troops run around and not get the value he's hoping for, but the Queen is taking out the enemy Queen right there with the Frozen Arrow. No worries there, as the Root Riders opening the walls, and the Warden ability is being used.
Like the water ability also hit the Siege Barracks troops as well, so getting a little bit extra value out of the Pekkas and the Wizards right there. But over the right side, we see the King making his way in. The Super Barbarians did a good job of funneling him inside of the base there. There's the jump spell to the right side. And for now, he's going to avoid the core. He's kind of struggling there with the Queen, as she's getting hit by that Ricochet cannon, take a lot of damage, but the Royal Champion is right there to reinforce, and the Queen is trying to decide where she wants to go, but she will be forced to ability as she gets hit by that Expo. He's got a lot of Super Barbarians that he can speed things up with on the backside, but I think he's coasting pretty strong here, but I don't know if it's fast enough. Is it fast enough? What do you think, Carbon?
Well, it's looking pretty good here as he's still not hit the 60-second mark. He's about to. With a Royal Champion, her ability, rage, and a freeze. 2 Super Barbarians left. Freeze on the backside as the RC ability goes off through a poison spell. As they're locking on the Town Hall, the Queen has gone down of his own, but the Miloff is still up. The Town Hall explodes, and that's going to slow down and take this Royal Champion down here.
Oh, the RC going down is a big impact on this attack here. He needs to keep it under 1:30. I don't know if he's got it right now. He's got Super Barbarians collapsed at the very bottom here, but time's ticking away. Precious seconds, and I don't think he's going to make it in time. I think he's going to fall short, Carbon, and that means that DC Esports will take this on time.
No way. The tornado trap even adds to the time to slow him down. Finally, the Packers are going to work through that multi, and there you go, my friends. Look at it. The time of 1:24 for Dizzy Esports, and EA are going to come in with 1:26. A 2-second differential right there. They go from a 2-second lead to losing by 2 seconds, and unfortunately, Yada's attack 1:43, the slowest one, and the EA is going to be sent to the lower bracket. And I'm sorry for causing the jinx. That is now 0 for 3 from me and Woody and Itsu. It's not Itsu's fault. It's mine and Woody's fault. We were 0 for 2. We continue to go 0 and 3. Wow. Well, my friends, we have no idea what is going to be happening this month. It really could go in any direction here.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like that the war came down to the crazy attack of the dragons right there with the spiky ball and the giant arrow. I mean, dragons are strong right now. Dragons in the meta have definitely been picking up here a lot, and we see a lot of the Root Riders still. But I like that towards the end of these wars, like it seems like they first go through and choose all the bases that they see a vulnerability on their Root Riders, and they can confidently go in and take it down. But then towards the end of the war, we see things start to shift away from it a little bit there with a couple of attacks and try to find something that can make a way through when maybe the Root Riders would not be able to get it done. So, and that's where we see the most hiccups on time as well as towards the end of the war, as we saw very clearly displayed in this one, where you start to get into the bases that were not picked up early, where they need more time to think about it, and also you have the pressure ramping the entire time while they just sit there waiting for their turn to attack, and that pressure can get to them. And when you're dealing with the toughest bases at the end of the war, that is what happens. And obviously DZ Esports was able to hang in, and now they've just taken out one of the biggest name teams in Clash of Clans Esports. But that seems to be the story that they've been running right now. I feel like I've been watching them play through a lot of different tournaments recently, and they've been taking out like big name team after big name team after big name team constantly. I think the only team that would be like the high end of Clash of Clans Esports that I haven't seen them take down recently was our defending world champions that are now Savage Esports. So I think they've claimed almost every big team, every notable team in Clash of Clans Esports right now, and they're at the top of the game right now.
They are. They're looking good as a perfect war comes in, but it was on the side of Dizzy Esports. They are going to be getting the victory on 2 seconds average attack duration lead, and that is what is going to be determining it here. And this is what we were thinking, having a lot of these wars. Perfect. This is the first one here today. It's only the third match. We still have 3 more matches to go, and the final 2 matches today will actually be elimination matches, where we're going to be sending 2 teams home. And Early Attacks was actually the #1 seed coming into today. They got a first round bye, but that wasn't good enough for them to win this match, as they are going to the lower bracket, as we've got our MVP here coming in for Dizzy Esports at 30% here, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, earned as well, obviously, breaking out the dragons in that and putting on a show for everybody. I mean, that's how you win over the fans. Like, if you're going to go in here with a wild attack with the war on the line, and you're gonna win some fans, obviously. But I mean, Woody, what do you think about that? That was a crazy matchup. Seconds of split between these teams.
Yeah, it could not have possibly been closer between these two squads. Perfect v perfect war, coming down to very few seconds even to decide the tiebreaker. Carbon, commiserations alongside you, sir. We've gone 0 for 3 on predictions so far. A coin flip would have been doing a better job than us at our jobs at this point. And so I guess I just gotta wonder what is going on this month. Are these just upsets after upsets? Is the meta completely up for grabs right now? Or is everyone gone crazy? Carbon.
I would say 2 things. 1 is the meta's completely up for grabs, and 2 is probably more accurate is we're just crazy. You know, that's really it, and it's just our jinxing power is too strong. And I just want to say I'm sorry to the next team that I predicted in here. I'm going to probably go 0-4 now at this current rate. So it's just a matter of time that we know the next match, and I just can't be correct. It's Woody. I think we're jinxed here, but I'm so sorry there to Itsu to rooting your perfect streak here. But let's take a look at the bracket now, where we currently stand.
Well, we have early attacks dropping to the lower bracket due to the incredible jinxing power of Carbon, Woody. But no, I think Dizzy Esports overall really, in a deserved fashion, won that match. They are a really consistent team, getting those perfect scores in the first match, second match as well, always with incredible times, even faster than early attacks, which is not easy whatsoever. But this means we have the early attacks versus Savage Esports, which is Savage Elite, which is another crazy match happening later today. And then the next match, which is on our hands, is going to be VM Legacy versus HTM. And on this one,
oh god,
come on, couldn't you start predicting something different, please? I want to. Like, in all seriousness, I have pushed with the players of VM earlier this year together, where we have tested bases together, built bases together. I think they have some of the best base builders currently in the game with Ninja, and he is just a monster on defense. So this is as well one of the reasons why I'm going with VM Legacy, and I just believe that we cannot jinx them. It's like I said it, it's not possible. I think they're going to win this next match.
Yeah, and what's interesting, earlier Woody mentioned that it was difficult for the North American rosters to be able to get a team to the World Championship. So now we're going into VM Legacy and HTM Esports. And these are both primarily North American rosters with a lot of representation across Canada, US, and Mexico. So this is going to be a very, very, very big matchup. And I think between all the different teams that we've seen over the years across the North American teams, I think this is the strongest 2 set of teams that we've seen from North America in a very, very long time. Very excited to see how this match kicks off there, Woody.
It is gonna be a stellar one, and what an opportunity for VM Legacy. They've been able to sit back and watch all 5 other qualified teams competing so far, getting an idea for the sense of the change in the meta game, how fast these attacks are going, what sort of strategies they ought to prefer, maybe if they need to make any last minute tweaks to their trap design, what they can do in the end is up to what they decide to do on the field. But VM Legacy now have had a little bit of time to kind of sit back, relax, consider their options, and from the upper bracket, now get a sense of what to expect from HTM Esports, having seen them already go up against Savage Elite. Now, they did get the victory over Savage Elite. That's something that might have been a little bit of a surprise there for VM Legacy. But either way, we've got 2 great teams teed up with amazing stats. It's almost kind of redundant to go through the stats because it's like hit rates of like 92, 97, 94%. It's like they're all so close, Carbon.
Oh, they are. But this prediction from the chat doesn't look so. We got 61% of the fan votes going with VM Legacy, while 39 going to HTM. And when HTM played the last match, it was close. It was like 51-49. This one, we're seeing a little bit more of a one-sided prediction. So they're also going with VM, as all of us here on the casting desk. So does that mean we have officially really jinxed VM Legacy? Or can we tell of what's going to happen? I guess we'll have to find out in this very next match here, Etsu.
Well, I don't think that's going to be possible that we can jinx them. Let's double jinx it. But I think Woody and me are going to take away this next match and are going to do our best to be as neutral as possible when it comes down to jinxing powers. But yeah, I think it should be an amazing one, Woody.
Agreed with you there. Thanks again to Carmen and Eric for your amazing thoughts so far in this next match, but it's going to be up to Itsu and me for this one. We are going to do our very best to give you every single strategy broken down with perfect precision and a little bit of a spice and excitement as well for this match number 4, the last where we get to see a team that has not yet competed, VM Legacy, in the upper bracket, will be holding on to their top spot. Or is it going to be HTM Esports to knock them down a peg? Our first attacker is going to be Nick from HTM Esports going up against Dark Star on defense. Dark Star is one of the few players who's coming from outside the North American region here. He's an Italian player, so up against the might of Nick on offense. We'll see what strats they're bringing to bear. It's dragons once again, Itsu. High in the sky and with a giant arrow to blast through the core of this base. Nick is off to a furious pace.
Yeah, and really great angle. It's not easy to hit those giant arrows, and he actually took down that backhand sweeper, which is just so crucial. The blip in the core, taking down the town hall, taking down the buildings surround. Should go down, yes indeed, and now it's all about the dragons pushing through while the king and the queen are working around the bottom side.
Find a few Tesla traps popping up in the bottom side, and that's no bad news for the king at all. He's happy to smash right through them and get some amazing value with that giant gauntlet, getting some spectacular splash damage. First 2 stars have already been claimed, and Nick is just on a rampage, tearing through the back base with excellent spread on these dragons, getting maximum firepower applied to these key defenses. Healers are still going to be boosting up that queen and keeping her nice and healthy on the backside with no fear at all. Even with ground-based expos, those heroes have stayed nice and healthy so far, with the royal champion charging in the backside to support the remainder of these dragons. She's going to pop her ability relatively early here, get a freeze on the enemy queen as well, and the Hog Riders are going to swoop on in for the final blow. Nick has once again scored an amazingly fast 3-star. Blake, and you miss it. That was under a minute and 15 seconds. I want to say it came in close to a minute 13 at the last minute there.
Yeah, you're right. 1 minute 13 exactly for the first tag of HTM, and that is an amazing start into this match, putting up already some pressure on VM. And, well, they are up next, and you know, they are having some of the quickest attackers. They have some of the only 100% hit rate players, like Max, and he's going to be the first attacker for VM Legacy as well.
VM Max marching into the action next. He's one of our American players going up against Agent 33. It is going to be another Root Rider assault. Valkyrie's out in front for plenty of splash damage as well. And we've got a Siege Barracks again here. It's a little bit slow on the deploy so far, but it looks like he's got a very nice spread across the top left lane of this base, crushing defenses as he drops every single hero, every single troop. He's going in super fast. Super Barbarians are excellent for cleanup later on, but to begin with, it's just going to be this Barbarian King smashing these defenses in the core of the base as he jumps over the walls and drops the Overgrowth quite a bit late, but does manage to get it down just before the Barbarian King is finished off. What's going on next, Tetsu?
Well, the queen should eventually take down the town hall as long as she's not having to force her ability early on. Currently, she's stuck on those ice cores, which is actually really good for her because this means she's not bypassing those Root Riders. They should stay in front of her, make sure that she's staying alive, and making sure that the ability then of the Archer Queen could be used to take down that town hall. That's exactly what is about to happen. Queen ability has been used, freezes invested, Royal Champion, everything hitting that core, and he's already giving us that fist because he knows this is going to be a 3-star. Not only that, it's going to be a fast one, and there we go, even faster than HTM.
Well, he finished the attack and put his glasses back on. They might as well have been sunglasses because that was one cool strike from Max. 1 minute and 10 seconds! Even faster than the one that we just saw. And VM Legacy are leaving little to the imagination now as a clear, decisive strike has begun from them. It is going to be a 3-second lead for that team as we switch momentum back over to HTM Esports with Agent 33 finding an opportunity now to strike against Cynthia, another superb striker on this VM Legacy Supergroup squad. He competed in World Championship events throughout the years from 2019 on through even to last year. He was competing for Navi. And so we'll see how he holds on defense now against Agent 33 coming back in with more and more Root Riders. Gotta have a Golem to be able to block here, another Siege Barracks. Zaps in the bottom corner of the base grabbing a Ricochet Cannon, and the Queen is down, ready to get some more funneling job finished along this bottom right side. Root Riders into the bottom quarter of this base with a Valkyrie to provide some additional funneling as well.
Yeah, and Agent is actually the 5th fastest player when it comes down to 3 stars on average in this competition, which is quite impressive. So the question is, can he really showcase that in this attack? The Root Riders are slowly approaching that core. There is no overgrowth this time around though, so we do not have to worry about the Town Hall getting frozen or anything like that. Where the Queen is slowly making her way towards that Monolith, and with the ability getting forced really soon as well, she should spawn some healers, right?
I'd sure expect to see that. A big old poison spell is down, and oh man, she has taken a beating. She's still alive though. The healers have popped out and they're going to be topping her back off. And yeah, you are right. No overgrowth spells, so they're going to have to directly encounter that Town Hall in the core. Taking a big hit as that Giga Poison goes off and really demolishing these poor Root Riders. They do finish off the scatter shot and will continue to push on through. But Agent 33 has lost a lot of his firepower early on, and although a 3-star still remains on the board, it's going to be a little bit slower than maybe expected because he's lost all these Root Riders, having to rely on Hogs to jump over the walls. He's creeping toward that 130 mark, and this 3-star is going to be a little bit slower than the past hits we've seen, Itsu.
Yeah, that's right. He's not happy with this one. He is not getting that quick time, but he's getting the 3-star. His average time before in the first couple of stages of this qualifier was actually 1 minute and 24 seconds, the average time. That's super impressive. This attack, sadly, is not showcasing or even getting close to that average time, which means 1 minute and 44 seconds. And this is giving a huge opportunity to VM Legacy. Because do you know who's number 1 on this average fastest attacking list? It's Darkstar with 1 minute and 15 seconds. And he is up next. And Nick has to defend now.
Nick, who's able to dish out the 3 stars, but will he take them? A bit of a time slow down for HTM Esports in that last round gives VM Legacy the chance to start the steamroll in action. Dark Star will be up next, and he's moving back in with the favorite Root Riders again. Poison Lizard for the Grand Warden. Do see that overgrowth spell again, so it seems like they're not really worried too much about time with a big advantage already on the clock. Darkstar starting off in the bottom corner, pops an early Eternal Tome, protecting all these Root Riders as they start to fan out through the base. I'm seeing a lot of Ice Golems in these clan castles, Itsu, and that really does speak to how important it is to slow down your attacking forces that are coming up against you. Multi-Inferno still stands, and it's firing away against a lot of attacking troops. Seems like that could be a bit of a hiccup here for Darkstar on the offense.
Yeah, I feel like more damage was dealt by that Merge Cannon on the outside, but the Town Hall should get back any second, and there it is. This means now the troops have to go back towards the Town Hall. He's not getting that scatter shot frozen up as well, but the troops should get that Town Hall, no problem. The Royal Chamber on the back end should get the last couple of Tesla, and yes, indeed, it's going to be another 3-star. And take a look at that. It's again going to be an incredible quick one. It should be below the 1 minute and 20 second mark, which is making sure that VM Legacy is staying far in front of HTM.
The triple once again secured here now. We are staying high and dry without a single miss so far from either of our two teams as we move now into the mid-war. Dark Star with another incredibly fast attack. It seems like the average attack speed for the winning teams has been in kind of the 1 minute and 25 or 30 seconds range. So far, both of the first two hits from VM Legacy are faster than that. Rigo Torres will really need to put the pedal to the metal if he wants to try to have his team have any chance at winning on time at this point. Defense next from Max will do everything it can to slow things down and keep the clock running. Rigo Torres, another attacker who has used Overgrowth in the past to try to keep that Town Hall shut down. So it's going to be another question about whether HTM is willing to keep that strategy at the forefront now with a 15-second differential on their overall time spent. It looks like he did bring another Overgrowth once again here. Rigo Torres with a pretty standard equipment lineup and pets looking pretty on the level as well. Starts his attack from the top right side here, Itsu.
Yeah, but he's taking more risk with his Archer Queen. I typically would see the Invisibility Vial with the Archer Queen together and the Healer Puppet, but he's going with the Frozen Arrow and that Healer Puppet. So there is no second chance for his Archer Queen to make sure, well, that she's somehow surviving a lot of damage. But currently everything looks solid. Root Rider's going around the top side, the King slowly making his way towards the core, and interestingly enough, he's using a double rage defensive tower, which is not that common. We typically see a lot of poison towers instead.
Rigo Torres drops the Overgrowth and will continue his push through multiple sides along this core, leaving that Monolith, a multi-inferno. Golly, ricochet cannons all around. That's a lot of damage that's going to get dished out now to the attacking troops. Super minions are great for cleanup, but they cannot handle the heat as the multi-infernos are going to burn them up, and the core still has quite a few defenses left. Super barbarians are now charging in from the outside to try to help out a little bit here, but where have the heroes gone into? Still just an Archer Queen along the bottom side to try to get the space finished off, and she's got a lot of walls to chew through. This is looking pretty dicey for HTM.
Yeah, it's not looking that good for them. Queen, though, with this Frozen Arrow equipment, can deal quite a bit of damage and slow down the defenses, so maybe she's going to make it still. But time is going to be either way, not on the fastest side. The merged cannon on the back end is good and just went down, but, well, does the second multi-fire tower go down? That's the important question.
97% and just inching forward. The Queen is stuck in a tornado trap, and that's more time lost and more of an opportunity for the Inferno Tower to burn her to a crisp. Finish her off, and the defenses have held for VM Legacy. Rigo Torres has been denied, and Max will hold on with that prized third star.
Yes, there we go. That's why I said, like, the defense of VM Legacy is really, really impressive. They are really, really good with testing their bases and everything. And as we have said earlier, typically the base meta currently is using a lot of poison towers, but VM Legacy on this one used the Rage Tower and raging up the Town Hall, the Inferno Towers, the merged cannons, all of those defense together made this base defend in the end, and having the 99% defense is giving them a huge lead. They're in the lead on stars, and then on percentage and obviously on time as well, which means they are good to go for the couple of the rest of the attacks.
Ninja, the next attacker for VM Legacy. Moving in now against Rigo Torres. Having just seen his attack crumble, will the defenses do the same? It's going to be another Root Rider assault. Take a peek here as well at the hero equipment as we get them set up over here on the right side corner. Starting to stab through with a duo assault of these two heroes. Going to be able to jump over the walls as well. Ninja setting up his Root Riders on the top side now, giving them plenty of support from that Grand Warden, and ready to pop an early Eternal Tome now, as all this splash damage from the Multi-Inferno, Ricochet Cannon, Bomb Tower, that's all going to be negated completely. CC troops are going to be coming out as well. Ice Golem and Balloon to try to slow and shut down this ground-based attack. But surely Ninja's going to have an easy way to whack back and finish it off. He finishes that monolith there in the core as well. No, actually the King is having a little bit of trouble there. Phoenix will pick him back up, but he got distracted by the enemy King and barely manages to finish off that target in time there, Itzu.
Yeah, but getting the job done, which is the most important thing, as the Root Riders are pushing through the back end. The Queen has to still deal with that Town Hall, but it should wake up really, really soon as well. And with still the Queen ability on the table, it should go down then eventually. Another Rage, Freeze, everything is to the left, and that's exactly what's getting used right here to make sure that those key defenses are going down, and that's another 3-star then for VM Legacy, and they're not stopping with those attacks.
Blasting through the core of the base and finishing it off again for the triple. VM Legacy keep their time relatively quick here. This was one of the longer attacks we've seen so far, but no shame at all for Ninja being able to wipe another base off the map. Great job to him. Ninja is renowned for his base building skills and now showing his skills as an attacker as well. VM Legacy have got to be very proud of picking up this new star player and keeping their chances of march toward victory high in the sky. Next attacker is going to be Mohammed Marawi now, and we're keeping with the tradition, attacking the previous attacker. Ninja's gonna be on defense now. We'll see if those defenses can hold up. The base building that I've just called him out for will be put to the test by HTM Esports.
Yeah, and do we see the Root Riders again, or is he going in with something different? But I would expect the Root Riders getting used again, and that is not the case. It is going to be a Lalo instead, because there is quite a few Singing for our towers to make sure that the Lalo is not having that big of an issue. Using the Lightnings early to take down the defenses behind the Town Hall, and now having a big hero dive to get some great value with the Town Hall on the menu.
Mohammed and Marawi spreading heroes out along the top side. King will be able to smash through the enemy champion, as the Queen is going to get a few shots at the enemy Grand Warden and that enemy Barbarian King trying to protect that Town Hall, but to no avail. Single target Inferno is going to lock onto the Barbarian King over on the left side, and that's a bit unfortunate for Mohammed Marawi. Big defense here now for Ninja, as he's able to burn through a hero and force another way of taking that thing down. But it seems like the offense is going to be just up to the task, sufficient for the challenge. Still holding on to a free spell as balloons float all around this map. Single target Infernos are great for burning up heroes, but they are not much of a boon against the balloons that have been demolishing these defenses in rapid succession. A minute and 10 seconds in, and the last defense now falls. Mohammed Marawi gets one of the quickest attacks so far this war, and will keep HTM Esports alive with another possibility of victory if they can just hold off against VM on any of these following hits.
And he did that even impressively enough versus a defending Electro Titan, which is not easy whatsoever, because they're Titan attacking everything, which means as well those air troops. In the end, he nicely lured that Titan away to make sure that it's not going to take down any more loons, and with that, he's claiming that super quick Thracia. That's exactly what they had to do, but now it's up next with Cynthia. He's typically known for attacking safe, but not the fastest. And the question is, can he show that now again versus Mohammed Umari on the defensive side now?
Cynthia, representing VM Legacy, has got a storied history of competition at the top of the Clash of Clans esports scene. He's competed with multiple different Fridge teams in the past, MCES. He competed with MS Esports. He fought for Navi last time around. So he is certainly a versatile player who can perform on many different squads and is highly sought after. Will those skills be enough to carry him to victory using dragons this time around instead of those reliable Root Riders? Looking for a crushing defeat against this base set up by Mohammed Marawi. He's done a pretty dang good job so far at being able to finish off lots of different key defenses here. That topside monolith could be causing some problems, but not much value for the splash damage defenses here so far. Scatter shot firing away at the dragons. It does take out 2 of them in the core of the base, but there's still so many left protected by that Grand Warden on the bottom side. Now swooping their way in and engaging that enemy Archer Queen now with Poison Spell as well, Itsu.
Yeah, but the queen went the wrong direction, which means she is now stuck attacking those walls, and she cannot really catch up that easily. But we have the Royal Champion ability now to clutch those last couple of defenses with the haste equipment and those Hog Riders. Those defenses go down like it's nothing. The queen is now joining up back, going for another wall, but the base is already done, and it's going to be the next 3-star for VM Legacy.
It's almost comical how fast this Royal Champion can just run through this base, sprinting from defense to defense and knocking every single building down along the way. Hog Rider's giving her a big edge as well, and Cynthia is just licking his lips. 3 stars claimed, and he is feasting on the remains of this base. Another triple for VM Legacy, and they'll need only 1 more for a perfect war. They have the possibility of guaranteeing victory regardless of what happens on their next defense against HTM. So with that in mind, we have just 1 more attack from both teams before we can see the final result. Ghost is going to be moving in against another Worlds caliber player. Fluxy on defense next. Let's see how this army is shaping up. It's going to be Electro Dragons from Ghost here, Itsu.
We have not seen those too many, I would say. Yes, sometimes, like from time to time, we see some of those Electro Dragon attacks. But typically we see those Root Riders getting used a lot. But Electro Dragons have the potential to be insanely quick as well, if those chains can get all the value needed. But the first Electro Dragons are already taken care of with those single Inferno Towers. And it seems that so far he's not freezing them, which means 2 Electro Dragons are already gone.
Big drop early on, and Ghost is going to have to adjust his headphones here as he tries to listen in for any more cues as to how to make this attack go right. Single target Infernos can burn up those dragons and heroes pretty quick, so it's important to finish those off, but still has to worry about a monolith along the backside. Barbarian King doing some excellent work as well, but punishing defenses have just burnt through a lot of the hit points on these dragons so far. Can the Hog Riders storm through and finish off the remainder of the space and keep these big, heavy hit point attackers safe from the monolith? Yes, they can, knocking it down. They've got nothing to say against the skeletons on the ground, and it's just going to be up to freezes and the remaining hero damage to try to knock apart this bottom corner. Ghost has got a solid shot at making this 3-star finish happen, but so far behind on time, HTM Esports is going to have to rely on a defense against VM Legacy, Itsu.
Yeah, he has the queen ability, he has the king in front of his queen to make sure that there is some protection, but the base has to still go down. But with not having that many key defenses left, that should be no problem whatsoever, especially with the queen ability and at least 2 of those healers staying alive to keep that king and queen alive with minions and cleanup troops up there as well. Nice recovery after an interesting start, I want to say. I really was surprised about those flanking single Inferno Towers and no freezes for those Electro Dragons, because he did not catch all of them inside that Warden ability, and that has nearly cost him to make this close 3-star, but that's all what matters. 3-star is in, and now VM Legacy, as long as they get those 3 stars or even high percentage, they're good to go.
Ghost with a 2-minute and 5-second 3-star strike has done all he can to try to finish this off as a win for his squad. It's up to Fluxy, the last attacker for VM Legacy, the clutch hitter coming in the final hour to try to secure victory. Fluxy has done it before, but he's missed in the past as well. He's a Worlds caliber player, but when it came down to a chance for Tribe to secure a victory, he actually got a miss on there. So let's see if that happens again, or if he has used that experience to come back in over the top and prove that he is one of the best in the world. It's going to be Mass Dragons making his move. Let's see it happen, Itsu.
Yeah, we have that blimp again flying towards that town hall. The Dragons are doing so far a great job of taking down all of those first defense. The town hall is going down with that monolith together. That was his big goal. As this queen with her healers, our deck is going around the top side. There is a wall break, so the queen can actually reach into this expo, where the king is carrying out that entire bottom side, which is a ton of value for him.
Yeah, the King is really not having to worry too much about walls at all as he's shutting down every single building that he can along the backside. Huge giant gauntlet smashing through these defenses. And the Electro Owl of all critters is going to get that kill against the Inferno Tower up top. Fluxy's holding on to a spare poison that he didn't have to use, but he'll chug some water and say, you know what? I can make it look easy. 3 stars from VM Legacy secures the perfect war. And they've done it. Moving on in the upper bracket.
Yeah, really, really nicely done. VM Legacy, the team which EA Esports said that they are scared about and they see as their biggest threat. So this is their victory and they're making it to the next round in the upper bracket, which is just so crucial. We have said it many times again, staying in this upper bracket gives you the second life in the finals then, which is such a big advantage. There were not many teams who were able to come back from the lower bracket, and this means getting that victory in the upper bracket is even more worth it.
Well, congratulations to VM Legacy, making great picks on their roster and great picks on the field as well. A solid squad performs when they need it most, and they pick up that 3-star victory. They are going to be moving on up top, and for once in my life, I can make a correct prediction in these wars, Itsu. Happy to see a strong team staying with their heads in the game and keeping the fast attacks coming, not just the pacing high, but attacks and defense across the board. This is a super squad, as we heard from Eric calling them out, and they've performed extremely admirably. So let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights now, and we'll see some of the best moments from that last war.
Yeah, and I feel like there were some incredible attacks, really fast ones, especially the dragon attacks surprised me in a positive way. I feel like those were some of the fastest attacks which we have seen. I mean, Root Riders are obviously really fast as well, but some of those dragon attacks were really, really impressive. But on the other side though, as you mentioned, the VM Legacy defense, they have not only pushed already HTM Esports to a fail, but as well on top of that, some of their attacks were really, really close. And this just showcases how good they are on defense and how good they are with building bases and forcing those mistakes from the attackers.
Cynthi's attack showing some more Hog Rider skill out in front of those heroes, marching through the base. I mean, these were very quick attacks all around, but I think it's the ones that show creativity using not just Hog Riders, but something else to rip through the base. Dragons up top, dropping spells at rapid pace. That's what gives me the confidence that these guys have got what they need. So let's take a look back at the match results now. VM Legacy have got a strong performance once again, taking a win over HTM Esports with just a couple of a fraction of a percent missing here. Rigo Torres coming in with a 2-star in the high 90s. And the MVP vote by 49% is going to go to Fluxy. Clearly has a lot of fans out there, and it is a well-deserved victory for VM Legacy. Now marching on to the top side of the upper bracket with only one more war necessary in order to claim that top victorious spot. Carbon, you've been watching in the wings, waiting for your chance to chime in. What did you think of that last war?
I'm just happy we finally got one correct, Woody. We did it. We finally did it, and VM Legacy is going to be advancing in the upper bracket, but it's not the end of the road for HTM because they will get sent to the lower bracket and have a second opportunity, a second chance down there. They'll be playing in the match later today in match number 6. But again, those will be elimination matches to come. We have 2 more epic matches. You do not want to miss those, but man, what a match we had here. Perfect wars. We've been seeing them a lot, but remember, they're going to want to try to get perfect wars. And because one mistake, like we saw, can literally be the difference maker. So very nice attempt there from HTM, but they still have another opportunity to try to make their way back through the lower bracket and eventually make it to a grand finals, which will be for a golden ticket. And of course, you come in second place, it will be a silver ticket. But now
Let's get ready for this next match, which is going to be Savage Elite on the line, taking on EA.
I feel like that matchup, I would have never expected this to be in the lower bracket. That's just crazy. Those stats are super impressive, averaging 14.6 stars in their matches, 99.4 on the average destruction on Savage Elite side, and early attacks with a 99.4 as well. It could not get any closer than that. I feel like those two teams, it's more about the momentum, right? And Savage Elite did not have the greatest showing in their first attack, or more like they had not a good start into their match. Question now though is, were they able to reset mentally and hopefully challenge early attacks with their match?
Very true. And you look at the stat line. What caught my eye there was that the stat line was identical between the two teams for the overall averages, but we still have Imran up there with a 100% hit rate. Very, very impressive showing there. But I like that early attacks has the entire team at right around that. I guess only one player, I take it back, is under 90% there. So an 89% there for Leo. Both these teams' rosters are completely stacked. Like, this is going to be a crazy, crazy match. And it's unfortunate that one of these teams is going to be sent packing after this one here, because this next round is an elimination match here, Woody.
Yeah, just like Itsu said, really hard to believe that two super highly qualified teams with Worlds experience at the very top of the game are now both in the lower bracket. But that's just the sort of excitement, the sort of upset, the sort of surprise that we can see in Clash Worlds, the sort of interesting storyline that we can expect to develop. But you know what? It looks like the fans out there know who they're going to take with this next one. And I think that they're agreeing with the casters as well. The prediction is coming in 58% for early attacks against 42% for Savage Elite. Our world championship defending team, Savage Elite, has just not found their stride yet so far this year. With a qualification last month and again this month, but still no ticket in hand, it seems like they're struggling a bit and are needing to kind of catch their footing if they want to have that chance to make their way back up toward the top. They've got plenty of months to do it, but it seems like the fans out there are not thinking that this is going to be their month, Carbon.
Yeah, you mentioned plenty of months, but less opportunities in terms of golden tickets. Because like last year, there was 8 teams. Now there's going to be only 6. So 2 less teams are going to be competing in the World Championship Finals. So that's why each and every one of these monthly finals is even more important, because they're going to have the 4 monthly finals here. You're going to have the last chance qualifiers as well. So everything is really coming down the line. You don't want to waste any opportunity. If you can take it this month, you absolutely want to. And once you get a golden ticket, then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. You can kick back, relax, and just wait to the World Finals, as we are now getting ready for an epic match here of Savage Elite taking on early attacks.
Yes, and that will be Eric and me taking this match, and hopefully it's going to be as exciting as those two names are, well, letting us guess that this match should be, because those two names, I said already, seeing those in the lower bracket, one of those two teams we're going to lose today already, which is mind-blowing. The world champion, or, well, the favorite for this qualifier for many players out there.
Yeah, early attacks is definitely a difficult team to bring or to go against. However, we saw the Savage Elite. I think the biggest reason they lost the last war is because they got the 1-star, and I hope that they are still in the mindset that they will take the risk to be able to make sure that they get the fastest triples possible, make sure that they triple as often as possible, and it just shows you the confidence. But obviously sometimes that confidence can come back to bite you, as we saw why they ended up in the lower bracket in the first place. But I have a lot of confidence in our defending world champions, still with 4 out of 5 of the original members that went to the World Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Savage Elite is going to be opening up this war with their first attack as they take on early attacks. And it looks like out of the gate here, we're going to see some Root Riders. We don't want to see them get burned with Root Riders again. We don't want to see the 1-star that put them in the lower bracket in the first place. We want to make sure that we go in and make sure we have every different part of the attack accounted for, and also keep it as fast as possible.
That's right, and with that king separate to that Root Rider smash, they're moving in. But there is some headhunters on that warden, that might be a problem, but no, the lizard, that is exactly why pros use the lizard on that warden. I see many players out there using the mass Root Rider attacks, but using Diggy or something like that on their warden. No, you see exactly why you want to use the lizard on your warden there. Just like, it's just so good versus defensive clan counter troops and versus defending heroes as he's moving into that defending Archer Queen.
Also helps here with the ground skellies. They're popping on the ground down there, but the Valkyries in the mix also assist with that. But the couple of defenses that were left out of the overgrowth there deliberately in the core of the base there to make sure that he had some targets will make so that as he comes out, the core is thinned out, and now he has to turn back around. But a lot of the troops went past the core there, so they have a little bit of backtracking to do there to get back to the town hall, get the town hall down, and he's out of spells right now with the World Champions right there in position this time. He's not going to one-star. He was the one-star in the previous war, but he's not going to let that happen again. He will lock this one in, and it looks like a minute and 35 the open attack from our defending world champions.
That's right, so not the quickest attack if we take a look at how fast you need to be with those winning teams, but I think it's a solid start for Pato, who struggled a little bit in his first attack, to say the least, but it is now on the other side. Early attacks, and they have really shown incredible attacks in their upper bracket match, but can they repeat that in this lower bracket match versus Savage Elite? That is the big question. Pato now is on the defensive side versus Achilles.
And interesting that Achilles is going to be the attacking here because he's also a Brazilian player. He's played a lot with these Savage Elite players in the past, but it looks like he's going to open up with a giant arrow that shoots across the bottom of the base there, and is going to pre-trigger the invisibility tower by the town hall, making sure that's not going to go off and cause any problems to the town hall takedown. But the Root Riders will go right towards the town hall, leaving the Eagle Artillery to the very end of the attack. But he will jump to the right side, get the King to push over there with the Siege Barracks working out on his right flank, and the King will pop his ability Giant Talent, and the Rage Vial surge his way forward as the Root Riders are trying to get pushed over to the left side of the overgrowth, but he's ended up with a bit of a split. Half of the Root Riders are going left, half are going right, but the stronger group went right, and that means the Queen might be vulnerable on the left side there. We'll see how she plays through.
Really has to be careful with the rage and the phrases which he has left to protect that Queen, or maybe even just pushes those Root Rider faster into the Eagle as the town is waking up again. We have seen that earlier already. The Rage Tower, with all of those key defenses raged up, that can be a big difference maker. But currently it looks like the Root Riders are strong enough to actually push through. The freeze is there to protect them. And the town hall is the last building, but it's going down. And Eric, this is an incredible quick attack.
This is very fast. Town Hall is going to drop eventually. Seconds counted away. A minute and 12 seconds on the clock there. And it looks like they're going to be locking in a very significant lead out of the gate there. So nice job, Achilles. Definitely putting the hurt onto his Brazilian counterparts over in Savage Elite.
Yeah, really good start for them, and now it's back to Savage Elite because they have to attack next, and they have to make sure that they're pushing this average time more in their favor. Leo against the team captain Yatta on the other side, the builder, as you said it, of the early attacks roster, and I think so far, Yatta has done an amazing job with that. Can he build bases though as well with his defensive team? That's the question, and we're seeing Root Riders again.
With the Giant Arrow as well. I saw the Giant Arrow and the Queen there, so I'm always curious to see what he has planned for it. A lot of times we see Giant Arrow when they're trying to pre-trigger invisibility towers like we saw in the last attack, but I guess he might have a different plan for it. There it is. It shoots across the base and is able to trim out a couple of the buildings that are just one layer deep. Then he'll quickly collapse through those buildings and use those buildings being removed as a layer deep funnel, and will also keep the Siege Barracks onto one side, the Queen with the Healer Puppet on the other side, the King deploys out in front of her, and we've been seeing this approach here being used a lot by Savage Elite here during these previous matches, and we're going to see it again right here as he gets the funnel solidly set and will make his way to the core, but he still has the overgrowth. We want to make sure we hit the overgrowth to clip the town hall and leave it under the overgrowth, but also pick up some of these back-end defenses and leave enough that he can target what he's really facing right now.
Yeah, really nicely weighted as well with the overgrowth spell until the rage towers are triggered to make sure that those rage up defenses have no impact whatsoever, as everything is again skipping that tower, but they should come back. The question now though is, I think the overgrowth spell was deployed kind of late, so he might just have to wait now. And that's obviously seconds, which are not optimal. I feel like that were a couple of important seconds not planned for, but he's still getting the 3-star and still having a really, really strong time.
Yeah, a very nice 69-second triple right there is going to put the pressure back over to EA now as they bump their average time down to 1 minute and 22 seconds. So 1 minute and 9 on the clock there as Leo gets it done. And yeah, sometimes you're a little bit too efficient and you have to turn back around. Like you want to make sure that overgrowth is lasting right up until you're ready to go back to the core. But if you're just a little bit too overpowered on the backside of the base there, then sometimes you got to sit there and wait. But as fast as that attack was, I think he's happy to wait there to lock that one in at that attack time. And that's really going to set him up nicely. But that first attack that they did was rather on the slower side. So it does still leave the door open for early attacks to be able to sustain a lead here if Imran can get it done. But Imran is currently sitting at, I think, still 100% hit rate across the entire qualifier. Remember, that includes 30 wars for the ladder and then the double elimination bracket that they played through in the phase 2 of this competition. So he'll try to sustain it here as we go in with another Root Rider attack with lots of Super Barbarians to support the backside and, of course, the overgrowth.
Yeah, he's still perfect with his hit rate, but he needs to be fast in this one as well, because so far both teams are looking incredibly strong with their attacks, going directly into the invisibility tower, triggering that early, using the warn ability now. But this means the Root Riders are going away from that Town Hall, and the Town Hall being activated, that might cause some problems, but there we go with the overgrowth spell to make sure the Town Hall has no chance of firing back.
Yeah, and you know what? That actually is going to delay the invisibility tower from being able to rearm. And so by the time he gets back to the area there, the overgrowth will make so that the invisibility tower will start its countdown to reset. And so he's actually going to have a lot of time to work his way back in there once he's ready to go back in. But he's going to circle all the way to the right side of the base there. The 1 minute mark is being reached right now, and everything's staying very, very under control. But there's also a lot of inherent risk when we have to go all the way back through all these defenses. And there's some big ones here that can still claim a lot of his troops, mainly the Scatter Shot and the Monolith, but that you have to have enough punch after all of that to be able to coast to the Town Hall. And so I really think that the most important troop that he keeps safe right now is the Queen. So he's got the freezes, he's got the rages. We just got to keep an eye on her and make sure that she is able to step in and take down the most important defenses.
And he's not so freezing the Monolith, but as well using the freeze range of taking down the spell tower as well to make sure that it's not reloading, because that would be really, really bad for him if it reloads. But overall, this attack is not fast whatsoever. This is a quite slow attack with nearly getting closer to the 2 minute mark, which is not optimal for early attacks. They had an incredible start into the match, but falling short with that time in the second one. And this gives now Savage Elite the lead on time, even though the stars are tied up.
A 6 second split between the average attack times there as that one goes in very slow. He will sustain his perfect record of always tripling all the way through, so his consistency pays off there. But the time, like, that was a very unorthodox approach to be able to go into that base, and that time ultimately could cost them in the end. But still, they are able to sustain under 1 minute and 30, and that's about where they need to be. And now, the newest addition to the Savage Elite roster, the only player who was not on to their original 5 when they went to go play and win the World Championship last year. So it is going to be Bernal. He's been bouncing around through a handful of different teams throughout the last year or so, but he's found his home right here with his Brazilian counterparts, and we'll see if we can get it done with a giant arrow, setting it up. And I guess we'll set it up just like the last one there. Like, Bernal, I feel like, is the one who started to coin this approach here, where we use the giant arrow to set both sides of the funnel for the Root Riders and create a lane to push them directly into the core.
Yeah, and that setup looks really, really good so far. I kind of like that there is some use cases now slowly evolving for some of those equipments which are not used that much. But this really, really nice idea of setting up the funnel for the Root Riders to make sure that they have the pathing into the core, even though he can still use the overgrowth spell. When is he going to deploy it? Right now.
Yeah, use it to lock out the Town Hall so he doesn't take the blast, doesn't take the poison. He can circle back and deal with it a little bit later on. But once again, you talked about it earlier, where we try to let the overgrowth be delayed until as soon as the rage tower goes off in the core of the base there. Now the rage is going to be faded and gone by the time he's ready to go back in the area, and that will cut the damage output from those defenses significantly once he reapproaches in there. But he's also got the freezes, so he can lock it down. Rage is on standby. He's ready to go back in, and look at the timing for the Town Hall and everything in the area to wake back up. He'll start to freeze it. Rage as he surges back in, and he'll easily overpower it, and that is another fast one for Savage Elite at 1 minute and 16 seconds.
Really impressive showing from Bernal, making sure that he's getting this clutch 3-star and clutch fast 3-star as well in this current position, as early attacks is struggling a little bit with their second attack where they had quite a slow one. But this means Savage Elite have everything playing for them in this match, but now Leo has to make sure that he's somehow making the match close again with another really fast 3-star.
So something I don't think a lot of people realize is we typically, when they play in esports sports, they start attacks at the 37-minute mark and then they alternate every 4 minutes. You'll notice that the pace as we're going through here is much faster than that. So as every attack is faster before your turn, then your turn comes sooner and sooner before the judges that are running the tournament here are going to tell you to press attack. And so the faster that they can make their attacks, the sooner that they put the pressure onto their opponents to figure out their plan and finalize things. But now Leo is making his way forward here as we begin with the Riders right through to the core of the base there. Eagle Artillery Central, and you'll even start in with a wall break up at the very top corner of the base, as it looks like he put in the Queen to go after the Town Hall up there, and Overgrowthing not hitting the Town Hall this one. This is the only time we've seen Overgrowth outside the Town Hall, and that's because the Town Hall is on the edge of the base.
Yeah, but a really great idea to use that Queen for that Town Hall dive, and using the Frozen Arrow as well to make sure that that Town Hall should be no problem whatsoever. On the left side, the King takes some time to actually take the jump, and the Royal Champion now leading the charge, which means taking some more damage, and I think the Fox actually went down.
Okay, though, he's going to get his way towards the defensive heroes. There's the Rage, is over his waist back up. The Queen is very slow at getting the Town Hall down, so he took a lot of extra damage up there. But at least their healers spawn and were able to tank the beams of the Town Hall, so all 4 beams were under control. The Royal Champion surged her way through with the Rage down there of her own, but she's got a lot of work to do. But the King's right there in the middle there, providing the tanking. He's waiting to go to Phoenix there. He's got the Wizards out of the Siege Breaks onto the Eagle Artillery. It will be the final balance to go down, but he's got it under control, and the attack time is good on this one as he locks it in at, was it 1 minute and 19, 1 minute and 20? Either way, it is on par with the average from Savage Elite and is going to improve it, but it is still going to be about a 15-second split between the teams, 5 seconds on average for the displayed numbers on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but this means that he's not really improving the time regarding the time of Savage Esports. The 1 second faster than the average of Savage Esports, Savage Elite is nice to have, but let's see if it's going to be enough, because now he's on the defensive side versus Loop, and he has to get that next 3-star in with, well, let's see what type of time this is going to be. I feel like at this point, as long as they're hitting in their average time, which is 1 minute and 20 seconds, they're good to go. I feel like they don't have to improve their time that much anymore, because they are already looking really solid.
Loop is an interesting player to see here, because he was, for a little while, he was struggling. He was one of the weaker points on Savage Elite, but he has got the practice in, and he is quickly taking the tops of the boards there as far as their hit race, though. So he went from the bottom to the top there very quickly. So some extra practice definitely paying off there for him, and now he'll push his way in with riders of his own. Getting the Siege Barracks in the bottom corner, Queen on the right. King is trying to get through the jump spell, and the Riders will get their way right up to the top. But once again, when against these anti-2-star bases with the Town Hall in the middle, we want to overgrowth the Town Hall and clip the Town Hall with the overgrowth so that it is able to be re-engaged later on, and we don't have to go right through the poison. There it is right there, split away from it, and make so that he does not have to take any additional damage right there, and he can coast into it later on. But always, every single time they do that, every single time, there is that inherent risk that they do not have the force to make it back to the Town Hall, and they're accepting their risk every single time.
Yeah, there is always this risk. We have seen it many times in the past that the Town Hall on the back end can be a big threat. The Royal Champion now using her abilities probably any second now. It's exactly like that. The freeze is amazing, to be honest. Freezing up the Town Hall and this scatter together. Another freeze is coming in, and that Town Hall is going down. No problem whatsoever. And Loop is getting the next 3-star in for Savage Elite. But 3-star and time-wise, that's the bigger question. It's around 1 minute and 30. Is it 1 minute 30 seconds? Yes, it's around that time,
Higher?
which
Oh, my.
means actually higher because of the Town Hall poison still ticking.
Yeah.
I mean, early attacks is with that back in the match.
Yeah, those last couple of seconds just felt like they were just dragging through as he just was struggling to get into that last Inferno there. And like you said, the Town Hall poison doing a little bit of damage there, slowing him up. And that extra little bit of time is going to have an impact on the overall match here. And every second is precious there. Like, you can't discount any individual second there as anything that we could have done to speed things up. Was there anything he could have done to reinforce that? I don't think that there really was. I think he played that the best that he could have played it with what he had towards the end of the attack there, and every spell, like you said, with the freezes were right on point there. But now we get ready for NYU. Also, we will commonly know him as Komakun, going in for early attacks as he goes in with the Root Riders in from the far left side of the base. King and Queen started the far right side. Baby Dragon getting a little bit of assist on the funnel with them and attacking both sides opposite of each other to try to push in the center Town Hall base.
Oh god, we have seen attacks like this in the past where they're trying to like speed things up as much as possible, attacking multiple different angles at the same time, but this can fall short as well if you're spreading up your power too much. So the question now is this going to have enough power with the Overgrowth spell now getting used for the core? But the Town Hall again is going to be left behind quite a bit, but oh my, there's one troop triggering a Tornado Trap and Giant Bombs. That was a game changer.
However, a lot of times when we see the Overgrowth have the best success here is when they only Overgrowth out half of the core, so they have other targets. So now he's taking a lot of time going through the core of the base there, through the Overgrowth section, and there's still, when he turns back around, going to be a couple of buildings on the opposite side of the core that you have to go through the Town Hall to get to. He freezes, but misses to freeze in the Town Hall. I think Komakun is definitely making a couple small mistakes here that is definitely going to cost him a couple of troops there, but he gets the Town Hall down. The King was able to get in with the P.E.K.K.A.s and get the left side of the core down, and he'll make his way back to the last couple of defenses here. And this is fast. This is actually going to give him a chance there with the last attack going in slow and this one going in a bit faster. This actually is going to level the time pretty significantly. Let's see where it lays out here. I think we're going to be only a couple of seconds split between the teams after that exchange and get ready for the final exchange that will decide the war. But there it is. It is a 2-second split on average attack time as he locks it in at 1 minute and 24. So our average attack times right now are a minute and 23 to a minute and 25 in the favor of our defending world champions.
That is just so close. And the crazy thing is, early attacks had this case already happened to them earlier in the upper bracket. And we had the last attacker, the team captain for early attacks, Yatta, falling short with his last attack. So can he recover that? Because, well, he will be the last attacker in this match again. But first, Cedinho is up next for Savage Elite, and they're trying to make sure that they're putting a statement with this next attack for a star, and it should be a quick one.
So roughly an 8-second split overall between the teams, meaning that we'll need to see Yata go 8 seconds faster. But look at this. We got a Giant Arrow. We got Overgrowth, Super Barbarians with Dragon, Siege Breaks in the top quarter. And he will begin his approach into the base here. But the Giant Arrow sniped off one of the sweepers that was faced in the direction where the Dragons are going in. But if we can get the Overgrowth to get the other sweeper out of the way there and the Monolith and the Town Hall, then he's going to be in a very, very good spot here. I think this is a great plan and has a lot of potential. But wait, look, he actually leaves the sweeper up there. And so he's going to be taking knockback all the way to the core.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice, making sure that that sweeper is not getting into the Overgrowth. And now the King and Queen are actually luring out those Ice Golems, which is going to delay him even further. The Supermins from the top that are rejoining his troops. But there is no Dragons left in the core. The tower still has to go down, and Cedinho is struggling right now quite a bit. The tower is reactivated. The Poison Tower is about to shoot, and the Monolith and tower they're left standing.
At least he got the Queen to spawn the healers when she popped the Giant Arrow to start there. So she has the healer puppet. She'll step in. He'll rage her. She'll secure the tower takedown. And then hopefully she turns to the left and starts to clear out the other buildings on the core. But there were champions the first to arrive in the area. She's got the Hogs, but they're delayed behind her. She goes invisible with their Spirit Fox. They pass her back up. They step in, get the Multi-Inferno down. And the time is ticking higher and higher. And remember, 8-second split between the teams. This one, lock it in at 1 minute and 31. The bar is set. This is elimination. And Yata has a chance for redemption. He needs to lock this one in around 1 minute and 20 to be able to take the win and overtake Savage Elite.
That is crazy. Back-to-back matches for early attacks. Yatta has to decide the entire match with his attack. Is he going to 3-star? Is he going to be fast enough to get that 3-star in to give Early Attacks this victory against Savage Elite in such an incredible match in the lower bracket? Because for both teams, the entire tournament life is on the line. Whoever is going to lose this is dropping out of this month qualifier. Whoever is going to win this is still having the chance of staying alive. And Yatta is in with the Root Riders, and he's trying to move fast. He's trying to make sure that 3 stars are on the menu for him.
You lose this match, you walk away with $5,000. You win it, and the sky is the limit. You get the golden ticket, you go and play for the $1 million prize pool in the World Championship. Yatta making his way forward. We got the Root Riders World Champion deployed early over to the right side to go support the Queen. Queen has her ability over there. The King deployed over to the far left side, and it's kind of a weird shaped base. Kind of a diamond-style base, lots of island-off defenses there, surrounded by non-defensive structures, so it makes it difficult for the Root Riders to get into those compartments, and it is a complicated base to approach here. I can see why they saved this one to the very, very end, but the King of Pop, his ability takes the jump, or excuse me, the wall break into the left side multi-inferno, and these Root Riders need to not only get this Eagle Artillery down, but they need to have it a punch to go past that, wait for the overgrowth, and then turn back in to take it. He's still set a jump spell though, and he's got a lot of force moving, but he's lost a lot of troops here already, it too.
Yeah, but his Root Riders are still looking strong, but the invisibility spell could cause some problems. It's going to be triggered right now. So the troops are skipping the tower for now. 1 minute and 45 seconds. Oh no.
This is going to be close.
Oh no.
Wait, what's the time? This is going to come down exactly to the mark, but is he going to get past it or not? This is literally down to a couple of seconds split between the teams. I don't know if that was fast enough or not. That was incredibly close, and I think it is a win for Savage Elite. There it is. 1 minute and 24 in average attack time to 1 minute and 25. If he could have trimmed off just a few seconds anywhere on that attack, we'd be seeing at either a tie or a different outcome. But as it stands, our defending world champions are the first to force elimination as Early Attacks is sent packing.
What a crazy day for Early Attacks. I really feel bad for them because twice they are getting into the perfect score. Twice Yatta has to somehow clutch it for his team, and twice he's falling short with the attacking time. Well, but that's how it is currently, and unfortunately he was just not fast enough.
Yeah, it was a really interesting base there as well. I can see why he was going to struggle with that one there. I mean, I gotta hand it to the base builders over in Savage Elite. It was the same base building team that was able to get them the World Championship last year and get them the incredible defenses they had there. And here they just do something, anything to slow these attacks down. And they slow it down just barely enough right there. So a tough base there. Yatta still was able to get it done and get the triple, but he needed to do it just a couple of seconds faster. I think if he was 3 or 4 seconds faster, we'd be looking at exact tie right there. But that's a wild finish there to eliminate our first team from this World Championship qualifier.
Yeah, I think we should take a look at some of those highlights, because that has to be for sure one of the crazier matches which we have seen today. We had crazy start for both teams. Then back and forth when it came down to time, who is in the lead, who is turning things around. But in the end, it came down to the one attack, and, well, Savage Elite clutching it out with their defense and getting that victory, staying alive in this competition because it was the lower bracket match, which means Early Attacks is the first team to drop out of this competition, which is a crazy surprise to me and I think to many others, because I think they were the qualifier favorites to some degree with their stats, with their showing, and it was not enough. Savage Elite, though, making it to the next round in the lower bracket.
I think a lot of people were calling for Early Attacks to be able to take the golden ticket this month here. So yeah, it is crazy to see them as the first team to go out. And the fact that, like you said, they did it on 2 series of double perfect wars. So they performed, but that's the competition that they're under right here. You can't just get perfect wars. You got to do it faster. You got to take those wins in commanding fashion like that. And there is our average attack time push across the board there for the attack times of everybody. And we see that there were just a couple of slower ones in there that ultimately cost them. So it's actually the biggest impact to their times was the attack there from Imran, who had a 100% hit rate throughout the entire qualifier. and he sustained that, but unfortunately it wasn't enough there as he only put in 1:45. But we see that our MVP was Bernal. Bernal was the person in Savage Elite there that has been coining this new giant arrow setup for the Root Riders, and obviously it's effective, it's good, and he's been sharing that with his teams. The rest of his team has been using it to great effect as well, and it got them to the next round and to survive in the lower bracket here, too.
Yeah, it was really impressive to see those giant arrow tricks, which we have seen now for quite some time, combined with dragons, combined with Root Riders. But it was a crazy match to watch. So, Woody, what did you make out of this one? Which was, I have to say it again, which was crazy up and down.
Man, I thought I had seen close wars before. Even just today, we've seen wars that I thought were going to be close. But this one, truly, down to the very last attack, down to the very last few seconds, we didn't even know what the result was going to be until it came up on the screen. So having to total every single building, every single second, that is what it takes to get to the top of the Clash of Clans esports scene. Eric, I'm sure your sentiment is much the same, but let us know. I mean, what were you thinking from that last war?
I mean, you expect two teams of that caliber to play at that level, and they did. I think they delivered exactly what we expected them to, and I think that war was exactly what everybody expected, but we just didn't know which way it went out. Was that a surprise result to you, Carbon, or you're thinking that Early Attacks was going to take that?
I mean, it really could have gone either way. I did pick Early Attacks in the prediction, and of course, I was wrong yet again. And Savage Elite showing why, they're the defending world champs, and it's going to be really tough to eliminate them from a competition like this. And they're going to do their absolute best to try to earn a golden ticket, to try to make it back, to try to defend their crown. They have a long way to go, but let's take a look at the bracket now here to see exactly where we stand. So we are now going to be going into match number 6. Milliseam MG taking on HTM Esports. This is the last match today. One of them will be going home, and then we will have all the final remaining matches tomorrow to find who is getting that golden ticket, Itsu.
Yeah, and Milliseam dropping out of this upper bracket versus Dizzy. They had incredible stats, but again, versus HTM Esports, it won't be an easy match between those two. And then they have to face Savage Elite in the next round, whoever is going to win this. It's not going to be an easy road for them whatsoever. But let's take a look at the predictions now from us on the caster table and see who is currently... Well, let's see how it's looking currently, because Eric is making a comeback. Woody, Carbon, you had one right, which is nice. Carbon trying to go with the crazy pick in the last match, and well,
I gotta make a comeback somehow,
Yeah, I feel like you should take this away. Why, in your opinion, is HTM going to clutch it out in this last match?
Great question. Just because I've got a gut feeling. I just got a feeling, I feel HTM may take this one, and I'm trying to make my comeback in the prediction. I mean, really, the only way I can make a comeback is because I'm assuming you guys were going with MMG, and it looks like you were. So I gotta make a comeback this way, and so hopefully we'll see, because this is gonna be the final match, and there's gonna be a lot of great attacks to come in, and all of you watching at home, let's see your predictions, and they are, they're on HTM Esports side here, Itsu.
Well, maybe they have a feeling as well. I hope it's not the same feeling as the predictions which you had earlier, but as long as that's on the table, I think you're good to go. But yeah, HTM, they have so many veteran players on their lineup. I feel like it's not really surprising that they have this voting on this one. It's going to be a really close and hopefully another fun match to watch, but that should be, well, veterans. I mean, veterans are kind of on both sides. Would you not say so, Eric?
Yeah, I think you don't reach this match if you're not a veteran. Like, it's interesting every single time we go into these wars, because you look at all the different players that are involved, and you have the entire world that was able to sign up. Like, literally anybody watching right now, you can sign up for the next one. You can play the next World Championship qualifier. But these are the teams that remain when everybody has the option to jump in and play and test their mettle to see if they can go after the golden ticket themselves. And it seems like the same handful of players always seem to rise to the top. And it just goes to show the testament of their skill is able to give them what they need to reach here repeatedly. And HTM is actually the underdog in the stat line here. Higher percentage, but lower on the stars. Just slightly, like it's a 0.1. So probably only like one miss throughout all the wars. It's the only difference between the teams right there. But Muhammad Marawi still holding a 100% hit rate there for HTM, and the rest of the team is a lot of them in the 80s there. And hopefully they can reinforce those mistakes that they had previously and come in strong in this war here. And we'll see what happens there, Woody.
Well, out of 50 attacks that we've seen so far today across the 5 wars, 47 of them have been 3 stars. It's a 94% hit rate overall for our top teams. And man, if they show us another perfect v perfect war, I would not be surprised at all. These are 2 amazing squads that have done really, really well so far, despite their losses. I mean, these are both teams now that are in the lower bracket, but I think that we saw a pretty clear pick from the casters, and I guess the fans out there had a pretty decisive pick as well, even though Carbon sat out and the rest of the casters up here were going MMG. There's an excellent opportunity from HTM to upset and to give us another awesome performance. So I'm really looking forward to this next one, and I'll toss it back to you, Carbon, before we get into this match. Any other final thoughts, any other words of encouragement for your team that you've picked before they get started?
Mine's just going to be defense, right? Can they hold MMG to a fail? Because the HTM, they did get that I believe it was the perfect, but in terms of time, wasn't on their side. So can they get the 3-star? Can they, or at least it was 1 fail in the previous war, where it was like a 99%, I think it was, from Rigatores. But that's all it takes. They're just looking for a defense. They got a really good base builder, Ghost, on their side, so he's going to be looking to help try to cause 1 fail from, which they're most likely going to see, Root Riders, right? That I'm assuming they're testing. And Itsu, you have experience with bases. What do you think is the approach when they build a base trying to defend against Root Riders? Do you think they're trying to defend it versus stars, or more just trying to slow them down?
I feel like versus the best players currently, you can mainly build to slow them down. I feel like currently something we see a lot is core town hall level, or like core town hall placements, with then surrounded by some walls or having some type of dead zone around it, because this makes sure that sometimes the town is getting skipped in a way that it's really either forcing a 1-star, as we have seen earlier today, or it's forcing a really slow time, because the king, for example, or some other Valkyries or any other melee troops cannot reach it, and they're having to wait for either the queen to attack the town hall, or for example the Root Riders open up the town hall compartment, and that can really then slow them down and really make sure that time is then maybe on their side and not on the other team. That's, I guess, what we see the most from those 2 teams when it comes down to base building on the defensive side, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the smallest little things there, like we saw in the previous bases there. You see like a couple of spring traps right on those perimeter buildings there, where you expect the super barbarians to be dropped in. Any little thing that can cause a problem and make it 1 flank have to be reinforced in emergency, and if they make a mistake on reinforcing it, then they have to turn back, and it can cost them time, it can cost them triples. But guys, it is about time to get into this HTM versus Milliceme MG, the primarily North American roster versus the primarily French roster. We'll go to head to head here, and one of these teams is walking away. So me and Itz are gonna pass off here, and we'll see Carbon and Woody take it away.
Thank you so much, Eric. Here we go, Woody. The final match here today, match number 6. One of these teams is gonna be going home. Absolutely, this is it. It comes down to the line for these teams. Their tournament life is on the line throughout the rest of this lower bracket, Woody.
Well, I see the flames of combat flickering in your distance. The shadow of this next showdown is going to loom deep across the battlefield. Elimination is on the line for HTM Esports and Milliceme MG. Victory in this next round will carry them on to tomorrow. But there is no room for mistakes. With so many perfect wars across all these teams so far today, I would certainly expect nothing short of 15 stars to give them a confident boost onward. And even that might not be enough. With time being the decisive tie-breaking factor in wars already today, we both know that these teams are going to do everything they can to keep those seconds shaved off as best as possible. Hopping into the first attack, we're already 35 seconds in as Mohamed Marawi has cleaned up almost half of the base already and is charging into the core with that King knocking apart this Town Hall. No, actually he's going to overgrowth it.
Yeah, with that overgrowth continuing with the super minions, they did end up coming out of a siege barracks from that far left side. As he is passing the town hall, we are just hitting the 60-second mark in this attack here. World Champion's ability has already been forced, getting right through this defensive king. Headhunter slowing him down. 2 freezes, a rage, needs to have this overgrowth disappear, and perfectly so he can come back to the core.
Great timing, and that rage is so perfectly positioned to get all the Root Riders and heroes back into the action again. Double the freezy pop power, and this summer is on blast. We are cooling things off, and with a minute and 30 seconds, Mohamed Marawi has done the deed. 3 stars in halftime total to start off for HTM Esports.
Yeah, minute 29 though. Is that going to be quick enough for the rest of the match? Because we've been seeing a lot of these matches, attacks coming about minute 24, minute 23. Some have been around a minute even 12. So this one might be on the slower side of things at this stage of the competition.
Next attacker is going to be Tryhard from Milsim MG. We saw him get a 3-star earlier today and will be seeking to keep that composure for his next attack. 1:29 is the time to beat if he wants to give Milsim MG a 3-star and tiebreaker lead out of this first round of hits. It's going to be Valkyries into Root Riders, that old reliable Town Hall 16 meta army. Charging in first with the King and Queen in the bottom left section of the base. A little bit of funneling will get them hopped over the wall thanks to a jump spell. Might have been surprise Teslas, or he might have even been predicting them. It's great value for the King and Queen either way to be able to smash through those surprising defenses and make sure the funneling is going to remain perfect for these Root Riders later on. The bottom corner is where they're going for, and as the King is going to pick off those CC troops, the Ice Golem will only take 1 more shot before he goes off. Meanwhile, King, Queen, and the Royal Champion are doing excellent work along the outer edges of the base to keep that pressure going strong. Overgrowth goes down and it does not catch the Town Hall, so Tryhard is not worried about those 2 stars early on. It's going to be claimed by the Root Riders. It's going to be all about wrapping around the base afterwards and cleaning up toward the King in the top right compartment at the end there, Carvin.
Yeah, with that Town Hall being down, he is getting affected by the Town Hall poison, but pushing right on through, has a Queen ability and a freeze now into the core as he does activate and find the Tornado Trap. He's past the 60-second mark, popping the Queen ability as she's going to be able to get through the multi, eventually the Ricochet Cannon, and getting some fantastic time here. And they will have the lead here after the first set of attacks. Of course, with those Root Riders, those Valkyries just crushing right on through at Town Hall 16. 1 minute and 17 seconds for Tryhard. What a great time to start this match.
Yeah, super fast attack and a 12-second lead now over HTM Esports. And Milsim MG showing that they are not going to put the brakes at all on this next war. Nick is going to be coming in next. We saw him leading off in previous wars, but he is going to be coming in as the number 2 striker now for HTM, trying to get that time even further down so that they can remain competitive against Milsim MG. He's had some pretty fast attacks so far. Let's see if he can keep it up with these 11 dragons. He does not bow to the pressure of the Root Riders as he will stay sky high with another giant arrow blasting through the base and getting some great funneling work done, catching one of those air sweepers in the interior once again. He has got great aim with that. Give this man an archery competition and he will get it right in the bullseye.
Yeah, with that blimp flying all the way to the Town Hall, we're going to have Sneaky Goblins and a Lava Hound. And no, it's going to be Clone Up Balloons as they're looking to help clear the core. Town Hall at least was down, but he did also destroy that Poison Spell Tower, so that will not be coming back as the Dragons are moving around this space with a Royal Champion still yet to be deployed.
Dragons are fanned out just a little bit here. It looks like Nick will keep most of them along the top side while the heroes are doing most of the work on kind of the bottom center there. Seems like the king and queen are still quite healthy, not worried much at all about the ground-based expos, as the dragon's going to get dragged off to go help out the queen real quick. Tornado trap springs, and it's not going to do too much damage against the time here, as Nick is going to wind his way around to the backside now. And it's not a question of if, but when he gets the 3-star. A minute and just over 20 seconds in, the triple is claimed. HTM Esports are going to improve their time with Nick's attack, drawing closer but not yet quicker than Millisime MG.
Bringing their attack time down by those 4 seconds here, which is critical. And they are just hoping to slow down MMG. Can they slow down Millisime? That is going to be the question, as the base builder of Ghost has an attack to do later, but it looks like Agent 33 is going to be defending for HTM Esports next, as Temper is going to be looking to push right on through for Millisime MG. And Temper, he's actually been competing in those challenges in game, the Holland Challenge, and he's been at the top of several of those, if you guys have checked those leaderboards. And he's going to look to bring a very quick triple here with some E-Dragons and a handful of Super Barbs. Let's see what he can do with 6 free spells to really free some stuff up. But he's going to go, yes, indeed, a Queen's Giant Arrow to snipe not 1, but 2 sweepers.
And Temper's skill in those Howland challenges are really impressive, and probably pretty good practice, too, for getting quick deploys down. When you know every single second counts, just finding another way to grab another building here, knock apart another defense there, and keep your troops funneled perfectly, going from one to the next without any gaps in between. Temper is the man for the job if time is a factor. And starting off with a triple attack now, Electro Dragons along the top and core of the base, another Electro Dragon army on the bottom side, and the king just stabbing his sword through the top. This base might be gone in under a minute, Carbon.
What? Look at that. Oh my, that was like a 50. What? That was like a 50-second attack right there. Oh, look at the average attack duration. 51 seconds for Temper, bringing their attack duration completely down, which means that now HTM are going to have to completely change their strategy. And that is definitely the fastest time that we've not only seen here this weekend today, but definitely even over last month as well. Temper setting an insane 51-second triple.
I think that's a record for today so far. Carbon, I have had a lot of fun watching your channel. I know that you know the overall record for 3-starring a Town Hall 16 base. But 51 seconds, like, it just boggles the mind how you can come up with an attack in so few minutes that is so reliable at tearing down every building in under a minute.
Yeah, it's insane what they can do, but Ghost is going to look to try to do exactly that. At one point, if they can't bring that time down, they're going to have to look to hopefully get a defense, as we do have the Siege Barracks look to come from the bottom side out, clear that. As the King ability has been forced, the Queen can even take that jump to move in towards that Town Hall.
Overgrowth is down, shutting off some of the defenses that sit there behind the Town Hall. HTM Esports are just suffering on time, though, against a squad that just does not give even a second's notice. Multi-target Inferno getting busted up on the top side as Valks and Root Riders continue their destruction wave through this base. But, I mean, even as powerful as this attack is, he's a minute and 10 in, and there's still so much base left. It seems like it's going to increase the overall time once again for HTM, and they're going to have to rely on a defense at some point in this war to get the win, Carbon.
Yeah, they will have to rely on the defense, hoping to get at least a 99%, because that's all they need. Something that is not a triple. And look at the time differential right now with the attacks that come in at a minute 4 for Millicene and then a minute 26 for HTM. They are severely in the backseat here. They need to be able to get the defense, or they have to answer with under 60-second triples for the remaining set of their attacks.
It is an almost incomprehensible metagame to stare at a 3-star attack that uses less than half of the available time and to say, you know what, I think that one came up a little bit short. It should have been a little bit quicker. If they want to catch up, he needs to do more in less time. The bar to compete in Clash of Clans esports is just being set so incredibly high. I don't know how they do it, and yet it seems that time and time again, experience, in-game knowledge, just the vast time that they've spent so far in figuring out every single way that they can shave another few seconds off here and there to deconstruct a base in their mind. It's like they're doing advanced calculus in just so short a time, Carbon. Kingsman charging in once again with Root Riders. A favorite not just for him, but also for this entire competition overall. I'm going to try to hop over a wall with a jump spell in the top corner. King's taking a beating in that first compartment, unfortunately for him. But Kingsman's Overgrowth is going to shut down some more buildings and give him another chance to do the wraparound.
Yeah, with the Root Riders continuing into the core, the Town Hall has been hit by the Overgrowth as the Siege Barracks going straight to the bottom side. Pekka's moving through more Super Barbarians to help pick the outside buildings off as he's got 3 Super Barbs left, 3 Freezes, and a Rage as he's looking to have that Overgrowth slowly disappear. There you go. Now he can go straight to the core towards the Town Hall. Poison did get launched, so he goes with a freeze. Hopefully he can continue to stay alive through the Town Hall Poison, but he is losing a lot here, Woody. Uh-oh.
He has lost a ton, but don't discount those hogs just yet. Oh my goodness. They're getting slammed by that stone slammer though. The freeze comes in maybe a second too late, and that is a massive amount of splash damage on an army that really couldn't sustain it. I think Queen with the healers and Unicorn is going to be able to finish the base off, but man, that is a lot of time that I think Kingsman would have really preferred he didn't have to spend going through a wall. Grand Warden is burnt up. Super Minion is down, and the Queen is stuck on a wall. She's going to stay topped off thanks to the healers, but this is definitely the slowest attack of the war so far, and Millicene MG with a minute and 4-second average is definitely going to see that time increase quite a bit. HTM Esports have finally found a defensive opportunity here to try to get back in this war.
Let's see, it goes from a minute 4 to a minute and 20. Wow, that really now is bringing the match back. It is going to be a close one. A minute 54 now from Kingsman, unfortunately, is going to basically take what Temper did and almost kind of cancel it out. So really, ECM is back in this match in terms of time.
Next attack is Rigo Torres, 23 for HTM Esports. Hoping to improve upon the 2-star 99% that we saw from him earlier. You can't let those multi-infernos stand up at the end. 3 stars required from this next strike, and he is going to be in full focus mode. Standard complement of equipment for these heroes. 6 lightning spells that he's brought to zap in some defenses. Drops a Skelly spell as well over this Tesla trap in the right corner to help out the Queen a little bit here. Spirit Fox and the Royal Champion are also going to get some good work done as the King joins in the fray, knocking apart some ice golems and carving those abominable snowmen up. The main force of this army is going to be coming in from the bottom side now, as this unusual attack style is going to see an early Eternal Tone to protect just a few balloons, and that Battle Blimp making its way into the core. The 2nd star is claimed, but we know Rigo is sure that he has to get all 3 if he wants the win here.
Yeah, with these balloons sneaking their way around the space, minions are down for cleanup. Moving through this is looking absolutely crushed. What a Lalo hit here coming in from Rigatores. The lightning spells to help not only establish the funnel, but also to move through. I really love how Rigatores broke this space down and used the design of the base to his advantage. Because of all the dead zone around the town hall, it could create a perfect path for these balloons to fly around to move through this space. And this is really going to lower the time here for HTM. Fantastic job making this match even closer. So that takes the 1 minute and 26 second average duration and brings it down to 1 minute 24. Now they're only 4 seconds away from a tie here.
Rigo Torres proving his value with the quickest attack so far from this HTM Esports lineup. A 1 minute and 20 second duration. Still an appreciable advantage for Milliceme MG, sitting at 120 average across the 3 that they've done so far. They could even pick up the pace a little bit, and still they would have plenty of room. Nachoa,
With?
the next attacker now. Take it away, Carbon.
Yeah, with the Root Riders again, another overgrowth, a jump to be used for this king. Typically, you want to take out that Eagle Artillery as quick as possible. You don't want to be leaving it up in a hit here as we start with the Baby Dragon and Root Riders to go from the top side of the space. Grand Warden is also placed, couple of barbs to be dropped to help set that final to push him way up to the top side, while the King is going to jump into the multi, and okay, the Eagle's going to be left for the end while the Siege Barracks coming to the left. Just always have to be careful about those Eagle Artillery shots doing so much damage.
Spell Tower popping off up top, and that's going to be a lot of splash damage that would have been targeting the Root Riders had the Eternal Tome not protected them all from it. Multi-Infernos are getting frozen and shut down, as the Eagle is also going to be included in that Overgrowth spell on the backside, finishing its splash damage off. Nacho has got an answer for everything, so it seems, as troops are going to now spread out and wrap around the outer top left and bottom right sides before they get a chance to engage the town hall. A multi-archer tower did stay out of the overgrowth spell there, and that's going to cause most of those troops to kind of coalesce around that edge. A Tesla's going to drag a few more troops toward the back side of the base as they now try to collapse back in toward the town hall, wanting to finish off as quickly as they can. Phoenix pops the king back up for a minute, but he will go down after all. And it's going to be a little bit of confusion in the core as the Root Riders are not going to get to go to the town hall early on. They're going to finish it off just at the very end here for a minute and about 25-second attack here from Nachoa. Quite quick. 124 is the final duration here shown. And that will slightly increase the average time for Millicene MG up to 121. Just a 3-second lead over HTM Esports.
Wow, it's getting closer and closer every single attack here, as now it's time for Agent 33 to bring everything out and send it all in. You can take all the risks because you know you have to lower the time, and you also have to be trying to get a triple. Here we go. The 5th and final attack for HTM goes straight in with the giant arrow. Does not hit that multi. Oh, wait, oh, okay, he does lightning and take it down. I was going to say, I thought the arrow was just off a little bit. Didn't go exactly to the 6 o'clock side from 12, but he's going in with the siege barracks to the right. We've got the queen charging in with this Grand Warden, and then 27 rockaloons, so we can try to be as quick as possible.
Town Hall burning up, but that is going to be an Eternal Tome really just for the heroes this time around to keep them safe, as the first star is claimed. Agent 33 has his fingers flying with rocket loons now, even faster than standard loons. They are doing everything they can to get this base demolished in record time. HTM has got to get this thing finished off lickety-split with one freeze left ready to drop on that scatter shot. He's going to drop the final wave of rocket loons to finish it off. A multi-target Inferno up top is going to be the last key defense to finish off, as the minions and super minions are going to collapse onto the top side. Unfortunate that Archer Queen's going to get shut down by the Ice Golem, but this is going to be maybe the fastest attack yet from HTM Esports. Agent 33 has closed it out with a bang, Carbon.
Oh, in about a minute 25, minute 26, though, it's not going to lower the time. So then Milliceme is going to be need to get about under. Oh, it did. Okay, never mind. A minute 23 lowered by a second. So a 2-second differential. Oh, it ended up being a minute 18. Okay, I was looking at something completely different. Never mind there. As Agent delivering. So now, Milliceme MG, you have to be just around a minute 20 and you could still win this. And if you're approaching a minute 30, even with one attack, that was 51 seconds by Temper. Yes, Temper came in with a 51-second attack in this match, which using E-Dragons. If you missed it, definitely have to go back and check that out because that was an absolutely insane fast attack. We had a slower attack that came in from Kingsman at about a minute 53, which has brought this match closer, and it comes down to the final attacker, Hawk. Good luck.
A perfect war so far. And if my math is correct, it looks like Hawk will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to get the triple in this next hit. If he does it in that time, he will guarantee victory. 91 seconds would actually be an exact tie with HTM Esports, and anything slower than that, they'd be behind on time. 3 out of the 4 attacks that we've seen so far from Milliceme MG have been quicker than 1 minute and 31 seconds. So it's all up to Hawk to keep that time coming in clean against Ghost, the last defense for HTM Esports, needing either a more than 91-second hold off or to prevent the triple if they want to win against Milliceme MG and stay alive in the lower bracket, Carbon.
It's crazy. This is indeed the lower bracket. You lose, you are eliminated from the competition. As here we go. And he, like you said, Woody, have to hit a 90-second mark going in straight away with that Queen ability. Didn't hit any of the sweepers. So that one sweeper that is over by the town hall is pushing in this direction towards the dragons. Let's see if that's going to play a role in this attack to slow it down.
Yeah, even if it doesn't prevent the triple, if it just slows the attack down by enough, that could be a decisive finish for this base. Clone in the core is going to let those super minions take out that air sweeper as the dragons are going to continue to stay fanned out. They've got that rage gem from the Grand Warden and are pushing through as fast as they can. But the town hall stands, Carbon.
The super minions got picked off, and that's remaining, doing a lot of damage. The warden's not even going for it just yet because it's following the target of the dragon, and the warden dies. The dragon dies. Now he needs to make his way to the town hall. Does have the RC ability, has the freeze. The king's ability's already been pushed. He knows he has to be under the minute 30-second triple.
Tornado Trap goes off at the worst possible time as well. He's going to drop his last freeze, but not to save the dragons in the core. He's got no more spells to commit. Hawk knows he's only got 15 seconds left to finish off this base, and it does not look like it is happening, Carbon. HTM Esports are on the defense. The last few buildings stand.
Oh my, look at that. The Royal Champion even goes down, and it's not even gonna be a 3-star here, and it's a defense for the base builder Ghost for HTM Esports, and that means HTM Esports are advancing in the lower bracket, and Milliceme MG have come to the end of the road, and they will be eliminated from this monthly's finals. Oh man, what a great effort there from Milliceme. Even Temper coming in with a 51-second attack, tripling with E-Dragons, and they still falling short. Who would have thought after the end of today that we are sending home early attacks and Milliceme MG? Absolutely insane, crazy stuff here. And that's one thing you don't know is anything can happen. Predictions, it could be any team's day. If you just have one off match, it's basically could be the end of the road. So great effort there from Milliceme MG, but congrats to HTM keeping their hopes alive in the lower bracket, where they will be competing tomorrow to try to advance through the lower bracket and eventually make it to the grand finals to try to get, well, either a silver ticket if you come in second, but really they want that golden ticket.
Well, congrats also to you, Carbon, for making a perfect prediction at the last second there. You came through. Really seemed like HTM had their feet to the fire, but they kept their level-headed approach the entire way through. And just with one defense in the last attack, they did eke out a victory. Kind of weird to say that they eked it out with a perfect war. And yet Milliceme MG seemed to be ahead on time all the way throughout, thanks to Teeper's 51-second attack, one of the quickest that we've ever seen, and only 4 seconds short of setting a world record performance here on the main stage. Milliceme MG have once again done a great job, but just yet not gonna be enough against HTM, which will keep their heads held high. They survive in the lower bracket and will get another chance to compete tomorrow, seeking to replicate that heroic run from the lower bracket that we saw from Synchronic last month, earning them a golden ticket and a spot in the Clash of Clans World Championship this year. Milliceme MG will get another chance next month, as will every other team competing in the open qualifiers. Let's take one more look at the stat line again as we see how HTM managed another victory here over Milliceme MG.
The crazy stat here that is just popping out on the page is Temper. 51 seconds. What an insane hit, tripling with the E-Dragons, and it's a perfect war for HTM. And again, having one small mistake, one fail costing you the match. Even if it did triple there for Hawk in the end, it would have been slow. As the MVP of this match, of course, Temper coming in, even though they don't win, but he deserves it with that 51-second triple with those E-Dragons. Insane stuff, but unfortunately, he would rather win the war than win MVP. And because that means now, unfortunately, their run has come to an end in the lower bracket. But like you mentioned, you can always try next month. You're just gonna have to play through the open qualifiers in stage 1. Make your way back. It's tough. It is not easy to make it to this mark, but let's go ahead and welcome back Itsu and Eric here to the desk. What a match we had. Take us through your thoughts there, Itsu.
I mean, after the attack of Temper, it felt like, okay, this match is just done. But then somehow HGM came back with a crazy defense, and well, that was pretty much the story. I feel like those were the crazy peaks of like Temper with his incredible attack, and well, then the defense in the end not making or giving him the chance of actually carrying his team. But this means HGM making it to the next round, playing then versus the world champion of last year in the lower bracket, which should be in a really exciting match as well, Eric.
Yeah, and that was insane when Temper did right there. That was the second fastest attack ever, tripling in Clash of Clans esports. The fastest is from Darkstar, who plays for VM Legacy, who's still alive in the upper bracket. So our world record holder sitting up there nice and safe and getting ready for his match for tomorrow. But yeah, it sucks to have that fast of an attack there and then still end up taking the loss. And it's just the way that plays out sometimes. You have to play as a team, you have to lose as a team, and I'm sure we'll see them playing in another qualifier later in the year. So I'm not too concerned about them, but it's just an unfortunate way to go down right there.
Well, whether you're on the caster desk or watching from the studio audience or at home, we know that we love predictions. Let's go ahead and put those back up on the screen one more time and see how they panned out today. It was a rough run for the casters. We had a lot of ideas about what was going to happen here, but very few correct ones. I did the worst today with only one correct prediction out of the 6 matches. But overall, even the best of us, Itsu and Eric, got 3 out of 6 correct today. It was a lot of upsets across the board. But if you were correct, if you at home were over at the Clash of Clans esports prediction page registering your guesses, you had an even better chance than those of us up here at getting some gems and some ore to upgrade your equipment, some awesome materials to use for the construction of your own bases. Carbon, you were the only one on that last round to make a correct prediction. So lead us through the bracket now and maybe give us a little bit of an insight of what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, I will tell you my predictions tomorrow for the matches, so make sure you tune in then, because I can't spoil them now, you know? I gotta leave you in some suspense because of how good my predictions are. So I mean, absolutely right. I'm just too good here. But we're taking a look at the upper semis, which is gonna be VM Legacy taking on Dizzy Esports, and the winner of that is guaranteed a silver ticket in the grand finals. And down in the lower bracket, Savage Elite, also known as Clash Champs from last year's defending world champions, if you are unaware, then taking out HTM Esports, who just defeated Milliseam MG with a crazy finish there. So we've got so many amazing matches to come. But what are the prizing again that they're really fighting here for, Itsu?
They're fighting overall for a lot of prize money. $18,000 for the first seed, the second one with the $12,000. On top of all of the pricing, those teams are waiting for the first seed, the golden ticket, which means they're going to go directly into the World's Finals later this year, while the second seed is then going to get the silver ticket, which gives them the opportunity to play in the last chance qualifier. So overall, those two first seeds are really what those teams are going for, while then the third seed are getting the $8,500. So a lot of cash as well on the line for then the lower seeded teams.
Yeah, it's true, but if they can get the golden ticket and get to the World Championship, then there is a $1 million prize pool. And if you get that first place prize, you are going to have your prize money ramp up like crazy, because even last place at the World Championship is more than first place here. So you get that golden ticket and you just took that 18,000 and you tripled it. It's crazy how fast the prize money ramps up here, but it was a crazy day. It was a wild one. We had some big upsets along the way, and we're all set up for tomorrow. But one of the final four remaining teams is going to take a golden ticket. One of them will take a silver ticket, and we got a fight for survival in the lower bracket as we can kick it off tomorrow. So very excited for that, Woody.
Yep. Two teams eliminated today with a $5,000 prize to their name: Milliseam MG and Early Attacks. Still two teams undefeated in the upper bracket now that are going to be competing tomorrow to try to stay on top: Dizzy Esports and VM Legacy. One of those squads will advance to the grand finals undefeated, where the other two teams in the lower bracket are still vying for a chance to make their way back to the top: HTM Esports and Savage Elite Esports, trying to hold on to their world championship title with another possible qualification later. My name's Woody, and I think we're just about rounding things out here. It's been a pleasure to be back on the cast as well, alongside these three amazing guys. But I'll toss it back to you, Carbon, as we round out the day. What are your final thoughts, and what are you looking forward to most about tomorrow?
Well, I'm looking forward to giving out that next golden ticket. Who is going to be joining Synchronic Gaming in the World Championship later this year? Plus, we could be giving out a silver ticket for the last chance qualifier. So many amazing matches, and can't wait to see what the second team is going to be able to prepare for the World Championship. How about you, Itsu? Any final thoughts?
I'm just looking forward to the upper bracket match tomorrow. I think that one should be incredible. Dizzy Esports surprising everyone. I mean, we knew that they were good, but upsetting some of the best teams, going 15-15 back-to-back versus VM Legacy, who are as well one of the favorites in the competition. That match is going to be really fun to watch. I'm pretty sure about that one. Eric, how about you?
Well, I was looking at the ELO ratings for the top teams in the world right now, and actually, as we get ready for that match tomorrow, VM Legacy is currently ranked number 2 out of every Dizzy Esports team across all tournaments right now, and Dizzy Esports is ranked number 3. Only teams above them right now is very slight margin to Navi, so like they're all neck and neck right there as the top in the entire game right now. So it's insane. I'm very excited for that match tomorrow. That is going to be a crazy one to send a team to the grand finals. And then I guess one of those teams to win that upper bracket finals tomorrow is likely going to be one of the golden ticket holders. So I guess we'll see what happens. Well, oh man, it's going to be a crazy day. It's going to be an absolutely crazy day, but I'll pass it back over to you, Carvin, and let's shut the show down and get ready for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys are tuning in for tomorrow's stream. We'll be giving away the golden ticket and finding out who's going to the Clash of Clans World Championship. So make sure you guys don't miss that match because it's going to be an epic one. Plenty of more amazing esports to come. So make sure you guys are following. That's going to wrap it up here for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Till then, Clash on.